Chapter 29:19. Human, die for this ancestor. The blood ancestor roared, his gaze sharp and piercing like a blood arrow. His figure rushed out and flew in the direction of Du Xiaofu. Hula! In the next moment, the old body immediately transformed into the hell-blood phoenix's true form and appeared in the void. As a natural-born life form, the blood ancestor's body was incomparably large. It was like a red cloud that covered half the sky. Boundless blood accompanied the hell-blood phoenix, crazily spreading and sweeping like a sea of blood. It was enough to make one's scalp tingle. A terrifying bloody and violent aura spread out. Everywhere it passed, everything in the world turned into nothingness. Old ghost, come at me. Opposite the blood ancestor, Du Xiaofu's slender dragon body twisted the world. A terrifying and ominous light shot out from those huge dragon eyes. Seeing the blood ancestor coming for him, Du Xiaofu did not delay. He dragged the infinite dragon body and rushed over. The dragon and phoenix collided for the second time in an instant. Almost the entire 11th layer of hell was stirred up. All the remaining demons and the millions of powerhouses from the 33 heavens retreated to the edge of the battlefield. No one dared to rashly approach the battlefield. Otherwise, if they were not careful, they would end up dead. What a terrifying battle. The blood ancestor is seriously injured. Otherwise, it's hard to imagine how terrifying his true strength would be. Du Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with horror. He spied on the battle in the distance and found it difficult to calm the shock in his heart. Whether it was the blood ancestor or Du Xiaofu, the power displayed by them was far beyond his experience. Both of them were very terrifying. Du Xiaoyao felt that if he rashly went forward, even if he had 10,000 lives, he would be crushed in an instant. That kind of battle was simply not something that he could participate in. Fortunately, this is the case. Otherwise, if he was at his peak, we would have been killed by the blood ancestor long ago. How would we have a chance to fight? Chu Daoju's tone was a little calm. Although there was a dignified and serious look on his face, after all, he had seen a bigger scene. Regarding the battle between blood ancestor and Du Xiaofu, besides being worried, he was not surprised at all. He only silently prayed that Du Xiaofu, Lu Jingyun, Dragon Fault, and the others could truly defeat the blood ancestor. They had already entered the 11th layer of hell and were advancing to the 12th layer of hell. They could not waste too much time in this layer of hell. Otherwise, when the demons behind them reacted, they would encounter an extremely terrifying resistance. And there, if they wanted to forcefully push, they would face the great resistance, and even more powerhouses would fall in the 18 layers of hell. I believe Dad, Brother Jingyun, and the others, Jingyun and Jingyun. Little Xingxing stood, Chu Xingxing's little Xingxing. Out of everyone, she was the one who had the most confidence in this battle. And this kind of confidence was not only because of her group of powerful brothers and sisters, but also because of her father, Du Xiaofu. Over the years, little Xingxing had seen Du Xiaofu create too many miracles. In her heart, there was nothing that Du Xiaofu could not do. Even if the blood ancestor's cultivation was earth-shattering, he would definitely be reversed or even suppressed by her father. That's right. Let's wait and see. I believe that the victor will be decided very soon. Du Xiaoyao also nodded and spoke in such a manner. Following that, everyone stopped talking and continued to look into the distance, watching the crazy battle between Du Xiaofu and the blood ancestor. Roar, goo! The terrifying dragon roar and phoenix cry interweaved, piercing through the soul and causing the primordial spirit to tremble. Every time the dragon roar and phoenix cry fell, they would see the immeasurable azure dragon's body collide with the huge hell-blood phoenix's body that covered the entire sky. Chi-La! The azure dragon's claws were powerful and ferocious. Every time it attacked, it tore the sky apart. The powerful dragon tail was even more terrifying. It collided with the blood ancestor time and time again. The strength displayed by the blood ancestor at this time was several times stronger than before. The originally evenly matched situation was quickly turned around by him, and he was once again suppressing Du Xiaofu. He flapped his wings and pounced forward. His only remaining wing was like a huge blunt knife, madly slashing at Du Xiaofu's body and letting out the sound of metal clanging. His two sharp claws were like hooks, tearing open cracks in the sky and shooting out chaotic energy. Kill! Du Xiaofu roared, his eyes crimson red. He controlled the void 8 trigrams and continuously absorbed the power of more than 200 meditative elites into his body. Under the dual effects of the Azure Spirit armor and the immortal Xian body, Du Xiaofu felt that his strength had reached a pinnacle and he could not bear any more power. However, the Blood Ancestor at this time was truly terrifying. His strength was incomparably terrifying and he was suppressing him. Every time the wing and the two sharp claws fell, wounds would appear on his azure dragon body. His flesh was badly mangled. Soon, Du Xiaofu felt that he had suffered heavy injuries. No, if this continues, I still can't beat this old ghost. Du Xiaofu's brows furrowed. His heart felt heavy as he thought to himself. He had used almost all of his strength. If he still couldn't beat the Blood Ancestor, then this time he was afraid that he would be in some danger. Du Xiaofu pondered in his heart. Should he fight one more time or retreat from the 18 levels of hell first? After all, before entering this place, senior brother Lu Xiaoyu had said that the millions of people in the 18 levels of hell should prioritize survival. They should not fight to the death with the demon race. He frowned and continued to fight with the Blood Ancestor while deliberating his final decision. Uncle Master Du, if we really can't do it, let's retreat first. The Blood Ancestor is too strong. I underestimated him. Lu Jingyun sighed as he spoke in a certain direction of the 8 trigrams in the void. However, the current outcome was not beyond Lu Jingyun's expectations. The Blood Ancestor was incomparably powerful. If he fought with his father, Lu Xiaoyu, at his peak, the outcome would be difficult to predict. Lu Jingyun had not expected that the Blood Ancestor would still have such terrifying combat strength after suffering so many injuries. Therefore, he was a little worried and did not want to continue fighting. Otherwise, if things went wrong, they might all be injured. The most dangerous person was still Du Xiaofu. Are we really going to retreat like this? Hearing Lu Jingyun's words, Du Xiaofu furrowed his brows tightly. He did not immediately answer and was somewhat unwilling to give up. After a while, he opened his mouth and said, "Why don't we fight again? This old ghost is indeed strong, but I think we can still give it a try." As Du Xiaofu spoke, his dragon eyes swiveled and swept across the many experts who were scattered in all directions. Uncle Master Du, if we really can't do it, let's retreat. Don't force it. That mixed-haired old bird is not easy to deal with. We haven't met a truly powerful devil yet. We can't lose too many experts because of him. Longfault also felt heavy as he advised Du Xiaofu. His words caused many experts to nod in agreement. They had only advanced to the 11th layer of hell. The strongest devils they had met so far were only a few in the meditative realm. As for the most terrifying devils, the Devil Ancestor, the 2 devil attendants, and several devil generals, none of them had appeared yet. If a decisive battle were to occur here now, many experts of the 33 heavens would die because of the Blood Ancestor. No matter how they looked at it, it would not be worth it. That's right. Yuqing Divine Emperor, we still have a chance. There's no need to sacrifice too much for that old ghost. This old man feels that with the Divine Emperor's cultivation, it won't be long before we can fight that old ghost and suppress him. There's no need to rush. A 3rd stage meditative realm expert of the 33 heavens said, "Exactly. The Divine Emperor's talent is extraordinary. It won't be difficult for him to surpass that old ghost." When the other experts heard this, they all nodded in agreement. Everyone had some understanding of Du Xiaofu and knew many of his deeds. They also believed that Du Xiaofu would be able to surpass the Blood Ancestor's strength in a short period of time. Although he might not be able to reach the realm of enlightenment, it would not be difficult for him to surpass the Blood Ancestor's current strength. At that time, if he were to fight the Blood Ancestor again, he would have a great advantage. This old ghost. Du Xiaofu listened to what everyone was saying, but he couldn't help but look at the Blood Ancestor with a frown on his face. He still wasn't willing to give up. If he couldn't defeat the Blood Ancestor with the help of so many experts, then it wouldn't be easy to kill him in the future. One had to know that his strength would continue to grow, but during this period, the blood ancestor would also gradually recover. Once the blood ancestor recovered to his peak, there would be another difficult enemy to deal with. The best outcome would be to kill the blood ancestor here. Of course, Du Xiaofu knew that this would be difficult. As he dealt with the blood ancestor's endless attacks, he struggled in his heart. He didn't know what to do. I still want to try. After a long while, Du Xiaofu suddenly looked up and said. When Lu Jingyun and the others heard this, they fell silent for a moment. Uncle Master Du, do you have any other ideas? If you continue to receive power from us, you won't be able to withstand it. Long Shu said worriedly as he looked at Du Xiaofu with a serious expression. That's right. We don't need to take the risk for the blood ancestor. There are many real enemies. An expert from the 33 heavens also spoke up to dissuade Du Xiaofu. Everyone spoke out one after another. They didn't want Du Xiaofu to continue fighting. This was a very big challenge for him. If he forced himself to continue, it was very likely that he would suffer irreversible injuries and even shake his foundation. But I still have an idea. If I don't try it, how can I be willing to leave? Du Xiaofu shook his head and said this. Indeed, he still had some tricks he hadn't used. However, he wasn't sure if they would work, which was why he hesitated. Since Uncle Master Du still has an idea, let's fight again. Lu Jingyun raised his eyebrows slightly and shot a look at the experts around him. Alright. I admire the Yuqing Divine Emperor's unyielding attitude. I will help you fight the blood ancestor again. An old man with white hair and beard suddenly laughed loudly. His aged laughter reverberated through the void as he looked at Du Xiaofu with eyes filled with endless admiration. Alright. How does the Yuqing Divine Emperor want us to cooperate? Please tell us directly. Another expert spoke up. Many people looked at Du Xiaofu's appearance, and their bodies were filled with an inextinguishable fighting spirit. They didn't want to retreat. They were just afraid of the blood ancestor's terrifying power. They didn't want to make unnecessary sacrifices here. That was why they wanted to retreat. Now that they saw Du Xiaofu's high spirits, many experts were affected. Their goal in entering the 18 levels of hell was to find out the true strength of the demon race. At the same time, they wanted to kill a large number of the demon race's experts and reduce the 33 heavens losses in the final battle. However, with the appearance of the blood ancestor, their footsteps stopped. If they didn't get rid of him, they wouldn't be able to go any deeper into the 18 levels of hell. Up until now, they had yet to meet a true demon. If they were to retreat now, no one would be willing. I have a way to absorb more power. However, in the process, not only myself, but all of you will have to bear a certain amount of risk. So everyone must be careful. Victory or defeat, success or failure, will all depend on this. Du Xiaofu's dragon body twisted as he spoke in a low voice. After that, he shared his thoughts with everyone and once again laid out a new round of plans. Following Du Xiaofu's explanation, everyone finally understood Du Xiaofu's plan. This brat wants to use the uniqueness of the Void Path realm to combine everyone's power and fight the blood ancestor. This idea is too bold. If he succeeds, he will definitely defeat the blood ancestor. If he fails, the consequences will be unimaginable. An expert said with a serious expression. He felt that Du Xiaofu was crazy. That brat had reached the Void Path realm with the power of the 4 primordial laws. The reason he was able to break through was because he had successfully fused the 4 primordial laws together. Therefore, Du Xiaofu's plan was to combine the power of more than 200 meditative powerhouses and use the fusion of the 4 primordial laws to fight the blood ancestor. After hearing his words, everyone instantly knew that this method was absolutely crazy. As long as the blood ancestor couldn't use too much power, they would definitely be able to suppress him. No matter. Since we have a chance to defeat the blood ancestor, what are we hesitating for? If we can really suppress him, it's worth taking some risks. An expert said in a low voice. Since entering the 18 levels of hell, the blood ancestor was the strongest enemy they had encountered. If they couldn't even pass this hurdle, how could they fight the powerful demons? At this moment, everyone's fighting spirit was aroused. At the same time, they released tyrannical power and continued to pour it into Du Xiaofu's body. Chapter 29:20. At the same time, Du Xiaofu also made a new move. As he fought with the blood ancestor, he slowly closed his eyes. The power of every meditative oblivion elite was mobilized by him. It was boundless and extremely terrifying. At this point, even under the dual effects of his indestructible Xian body and azure spirit armor, Du Xiaofu's body still began to crack. Blood flowed continuously and spilled into the void. Then, it was crushed into nothingness by the majestic power. 4 primordial laws of nature, gather. Du Xiaofu's dragon body danced in the air as he shouted loudly. Walala! Boundless power was like a whirlpool that kept churning. The power of more than 200 meditative oblivion elites was divided into 4 different types, each belonging to the 4 primordial laws of nature. And with Du Xiaofu's mobilization, these powers began to blend further, intertwining with each other and then becoming one. Different colors seeped into each other. This was a process of merging the 4 primordial laws of nature. Du Xiaofu had already experienced it once. When he was at the peak of the late-stage true severing stage, he had used this method to break through to the virtual path realm. Now, he was just going through it again. The only difference was that the power he could mobilize this time was countless times stronger than before. Buzz buzz buzz. Outside Du Xiaofu's azure dragon body, the terrifying 8 trigrams circled there and suddenly expanded outwards, encompassing an area of millions of miles. It was like a divine wheel of destruction that replaced the position of the heavens, bringing with it a terrifying pressure. And soon, the 8 trigrams began to spin wildly, turning into a blurry light that shot straight into the sky. Boom boom boom. A terrifying friction occurred between the origin of laws, and a thunderous sound spread out, shaking the world. Along with it came the boundless power of the Great Path, exuding an incomparably terrifying power. Old ghost, get out of my way. Du Xiaofu roared. His dragon tail swung through the air and fiercely collided with the blood ancestor's wings, sending the other party thousands of miles away. At the same time, he borrowed the force of the recoil to quickly retreat into the distance. His dragon tail instantly exploded after colliding with the blood ancestor's attack. His flesh and blood flew everywhere. However, Du Xiaofu had to do this. Only by temporarily breaking away from the blood ancestor's attack could he buy enough time to combine all the power he currently possessed. 4 primordial laws, condense. After retreating far away, Du Xiaofu shouted again. After that, the 8 trigrams diagram above his head spun even faster, turning into a blurry light. The 8 positions of Qian, Kuan, Jin, Sun, Ken, Li, Zhen, and Dy constantly changed and intersected with each other. Even the power of his primordial spirit couldn't detect the exact trajectory. Among them, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Long Ke, Long Su, and the other 200-plus meditative forgetfulness experts from the 33 heavens were also revolving along with the 8 trigrams. To these people, such a terrifying speed was nothing difficult. However, something that shocked them happened very quickly. I feel that the power in my body is constantly flowing away. It's not under my control at all. It's the same for me. This 8 trigrams diagram is emitting a devouring power that's desperately tearing at my power. What a terrifying method. How did Du Xiaofu do it? I've heard of this scene before. It seems that when that kid broke through to the virtual path realm in the Divine Devil battlefield, he had this kind of power. It's really terrifying. Does this kid want to take away all the power in our bodies? Many experts opened their mouths to speak, all of them filled with shock. At this moment, everyone felt that there was an invisible, fierce power that was constantly tearing at their bodies, as if it wanted to rob them of all the power in their bodies. And this was the truth. The power that was being pulled out all followed the rotation of the 8 trigrams diagram and entered Du Xiaofu's position, being mobilized by him. This kind of situation caused everyone to feel aghast. They could not believe that a young man like Du Xiaofu could do this. It was completely beyond their imagination. One had to know that there were more than 200 meditative realm cultivators. Even if each of them only used 10% of their strength, it would still be enough to make Du Xiaofu suffer a great deal when added together. Fortunately, Du Xiaofu only used this power and did not directly devour it. What he really needed to resist was only a small part of it. Otherwise, in an instant, his body would explode and he would die. Even so, there were still people who could not help but worry. They looked at Du Xiaofu with deep worry. It's fine to rob us of our power. As long as we are not severely injured, we can recover quickly. What I'm worried about is, can the Yu Qing Divine Emperor really withstand such a vast amount of power? An elder in the third meditative realm from the 33 heavens said. When the others heard this, they all nodded in agreement. This was what they were worried about. Du Xiaofu's power was there for all to see. After all, he was only a level 2 virtual path cultivator. His true power might be able to fight against a second meditative realm cultivator, but under the current circumstances, it was not enough. Therefore, everyone was a little nervous, not knowing what to do. They did not dare to control the power in their bodies. If they were not careful and obstructed Du Xiaofu's plan, it could lead to unimaginable consequences and cause harm to the purple-robed young man. I believe that Master's Junior Du is confident. Let's pour in all our power. Let him take as much as he needs. At this time, Lu Jingyun spoke. Although he was as worried as everyone else, he still had great confidence in Du Xiaofu. That's the only way. The rest of the strong cultivators sighed and said. Then, everyone stopped thinking about it and poured all their power into their bodies. However, they did not force it into the 8 trigrams diagram. No matter how much power Du Xiaofu needed, he could just direct it to him and use it for himself. And the result of this was quickly apparent. As time passed, Du Xiaofu's entire body was wrapped in a thick cocoon of light, releasing a mysterious light. The strong cultivators of the 33 heavens also felt different. They all felt that the power in their bodies was out of control. Some of the first meditative realm cultivators even felt dizzy. Under Du Xiaofu's control, these people were all affected by a mysterious power. It was as if they were being guided by the power of the great Tao. They wanted to return to their original state and become the purest form of energy. Chapter 29-21. The Yu Qing Divine Emperor's methods are too terrifying. If his strength had reached the 3rd level of the void path, killing us would be as easy as crushing a chicken or a pottery dog. An expert said in fear. He was shocked by Du Xiaofu's methods. In the beginning, they thought they still had the ability to escape. However, in order to cooperate with Du Xiaofu, they didn't control their power. Now, however, everything was out of their control. Everyone's hearts were heavy. No wonder that guy said that this method was very risky. It's not just for him, it's also for us. Now, it seems like it's true. An elder sighed. As he released the power in his body, he also tried his best to maintain his body and avoid being harmed. Let's hope we can suppress the blood ancestor this time. Long Su said. Then, everyone stopped talking and focused all their attention on Du Xiaofu. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's entire body was enveloped by an infinite amount of light. The origin of laws and the origin of the great Tao surged, creating huge waves that swept across the sky. The terrifying power crushed everything and destroyed everything in its path. Everywhere it passed, the void turned into chaos. Opposite him, the blood ancestor was also pushed back by this terrifying power. It was difficult for him to get close to Du Xiaofu. His eyes were filled with shock as he watched the scene unfold before him. His ferocious and ruthless face was filled with shock. This little bastard can actually do this. If it weren't for the fact that my power was greatly reduced, you wouldn't be so arrogant. The blood ancestor murmured as he looked at Du Xiaofu with eyes filled with unconcealable hatred. Only at this moment did he truly feel threatened because Du Xiaofu's methods were truly terrifying to him. If the blood ancestor hadn't been repeatedly injured by Lu Xiaoyu in the Qian Su Jinghua heaven after being suppressed by the original phoenix for countless years, he wouldn't have fought with Du Xiaofu for such a long time. But all of this had been predestined. Even though he was the blood ancestor, there was nothing he could do to change anything. He could only think of a way to deal with Du Xiaofu's methods. The blood ancestor knew very well that if he made a mistake this time, he might really be in great danger. He didn't dare to let his guard down in the slightest, lest he fail miserably. "Human brat, do you really think this ancestor can't do anything to you?" The blood ancestor gritted his teeth as he stared at Du Xiaofu. His hell-blood phoenix body suddenly spread out, and the only remaining wing turned into a giant saber. It slashed down and a sharp aura shot out. In this slash, a bloody light soared into the sky, and a violent murderous aura surged. It was all-pervasive, and it directly pierced through the light cocoon around Du Xiaofu's body. Although the blood ancestor was heavily injured by him, he still had the body of a Dao carrier. Therefore, in this attack, there was a terrifying force shuttling back and forth. This was his own Dao, and it instantly affected the order of the space around Du Xiaofu. Chi-Chi, the boundless power was torn apart by streaks of bloody light and gradually disintegrated, revealing Du Xiaofu's azure dragon body. Roar! Du Xiaofu's body seemed to have been hit by a sharp arrow, and an earth-shattering dragon roar came from his throat. His dragon eyes turned and looked at the blood ancestor, who was about to kill him, with a murderous intent. "Old man, come and have a taste of my attack," Du Xiaofu shouted. His dragon body danced wildly, twisting the heaven and earth, and stirring up the sky. Every move he made would shatter the void and turn it into chaos. This scene was simply too terrifying. When one had the power of a god, it was like the might of a demon god, looking down on the world. "Origin murdering sky sword, kill!" These words came out of Du Xiaofu's mouth, accompanied by a dragon's roar, and rose into the air, setting off a terrifying world-destroying storm that crazily surged out. Then, there was a keng sound, as if a peerless divine sword had been unsheathed, and it was like the sound of a dragon, directly penetrating the soul. In the distance of the 11th level, whether it was the countless remaining demons or the millions of powerhouses from the 33 heavens, they all felt their souls tremble because of this sword cry. The sword cry pierced the soul, and the killing intent was peerless, and it was incomparably fierce. Many demons below the true severing realm, just by hearing this sound, were instantly killed, and their primordial spirits collapsed, dying a violent death. What a frightening sword! Little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, Chu Daoju, Ling Feng, Long San, and the millions of people from the 33 heavens were all shocked by the scene. Everyone couldn't help but retreat in panic, wanting to retreat even further. The power that Du Xiaofu displayed at this time far exceeded the understanding of many people. Even Chu Daoju, Long San, Ling Feng, and many others from the 3,000 boundless worlds were deeply shocked. Many of them had seen Lu Xiaoyao's attack before, but they had never experienced such a huge scene. In this aspect, Du Xiaofu was indeed terrifying at this time. The power that he grasped was unmatched, and the origin murdering sky sword was a method that very few people had ever comprehended. But on the other hand, it also showed that Du Xiaofu's strength was still not strong enough, and he was unable to grasp the power in detail. There were aftershocks that burst out, resulting in this result. This sword, I'm afraid that even if the blood ancestor received it, he would also be injured. Ling Feng's throat unconsciously moved a few times as he murmured. He raised his eyes and looked into the distance, his whole person falling into a stupefied state. "Boss, you can do it?" Du Xiaoyao clenched her fists tightly and said in a deep voice. Everyone was paying attention to the battle over there. Under the gaze of Chu Daoju, Little Xingxing, and a few other high-level immortal experts, Du Xiaofu's sword directly rose into the sky. A sword light that penetrated the heavens and the earth rose into the sky like a heavenly pillar. It was so bright and dazzling that it made people unable to open their eyes. The terrifying power of the laws of origin swirled and swirled, and the power of the great path was everywhere. Compared to the origin murdering sky sword that Du Xiaofu used in the past, this was many times more powerful. What followed was a terrifying pressure that covered the sky and the earth, making people's scalps tingle. Those with weaker cultivations felt their legs go soft and wanted to crawl under this sword light. "Kill!" As Du Xiaofu shouted in a deep voice, the huge sword light began to move and slash towards the blood ancestor. Boom! Boom! When the sword fell, it was as if a heavenly pillar had suddenly collapsed, causing the entire 11th layer of hell to tremble violently. It was as if thousands of mountains had collapsed, and thousands of waves roared as if the end of the world had arrived. "Little bastard, go to hell." The face of the blood ancestor's hell-blood phoenix was even more ferocious than before. Du Xiaofu's sword moved his eyes, and he attacked without holding back. The blood ancestor's single wing slashed down, covering half of the sky. It was like a heaven-dominating divine sword that could split the heavens and the earth, and it was ferocious and impressive. The blood-red sword light's attack was also extremely terrifying. The violent killing intent spread wildly and swept through the 9 heavens. The smell of blood permeated everything, corroding the heavens and the earth, creating black holes in which chaos was tumbling. The bodies of the people in the distance were all stained with a blood-red light because of this, and their minds were also affected. It was such a strike that brazenly collided with Du Xiaofu's quintessence sky-splitter sword. Buzz. When the two collided, there was no large-scale explosion. Instead, there was only a faint buzzing sound. However, everyone knew that this was just an illusion. This was because at this moment, the senses of countless powerhouses had been violently impacted and they had lost their senses. Chu Daoju, Ling Feng, Long San, Little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, and the many powerhouses of the 33 heavens were all unable to see, unable to hear, and unable to see. Their 5 senses were all gone, and the power of their primordial spirits had been destroyed. Their minds were buzzing. They had also lost their senses of the battle between Du Xiaofu and the blood ancestor. It was not until a long time later that everyone gradually recovered. They shook their heads and expelled the dizziness from their minds. Once again, they opened their eyes and released the power of their primordial spirits to spy on Du Xiaofu. However, just as they released their strength, a powerful and domineering wave of qi suddenly rushed towards them. It was like the Yangtze River, and turbid waves were rolling over. It looked like it was about to hit them. "Retreat! Retreat quickly!" Chu Daoju shouted in panic. Without thinking, he waved his sleeves and rolled up a large number of figures to quickly escape. "This power is terrifying. Run quickly." The other powerhouses also reacted quickly. Like Chu Daoju, they wrapped up many powerhouses of the 33 heavens, broke through the void, and quickly escaped into the distance. Fortunately, Chu Daoju had awakened in time. In addition, those with weaker cultivations were far away. Many people had already begun to escape into the distance, running deeper into the 11th layer of hell. No one dared to stay here. The surging wave was terrifying and the aura was fierce. Just by being far away, one could feel the incomparable danger. It was easy to imagine how many people would die here if they were to forcefully endure this wave of impact without dodging. Everyone fled in panic, not daring to look back. They only wanted to escape as far as possible. During this period, the battle between Du Xiaofu and the blood ancestor had a clear result. Amidst the boundless energy storm, the majestic azure dragon's body continued to tumble about. The sharp wind blades cut into the azure dragon's body, leaving behind terrifying wounds that were deep enough to reach the bone. Blood sprayed everywhere. What was even more terrifying was that the dragon's tail and one of the dragon's claws were directly cut off, turning into powder and exploding in the void. Du Xiaofu's body was covered with wounds. His skin and flesh were twisted, looking terrifying. He had already fainted and was unconscious. Around him, the 8 trigrams in the void had already collapsed. Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Long Ke, Long Su, and more than 200 meditative elites were all thrown away. These people barely made it to Du Xiaofu's side in such a terrifying storm. Everyone worked together and tried to bring him away with difficulty. Ao. In another place in the terrifying storm, the blood ancestor situation was not optimistic either. His other wing had also turned into nothingness. He looked like a blood-colored rooster that had a pair of wings plucked out, rolling in the storm. A shrill cry came from the blood ancestor's mouth. Immense pain entangled him, causing his body to be like a withered blade of grass in the midst of a violent storm, being ruthlessly trampled and destroyed. Rumble. The attack between Du Xiaofu and the Blood Ancestor had an incomparably terrifying effect. Terrifying tremors came one after another, like muffled thunder echoing throughout the sky. After an unknown period of time, the boundless storm energy began to gradually recede, slowly disappearing into nothingness. Everyone's figures were also revealed in the void. How is the Yuqing Divine Emperor? Is he all right? A second meditative realm elite from the 33 heavens came to the side of Lu Jingyun and asked anxiously. At this time, Du Xiaofu's azure dragon body had already disappeared, and he had returned to his human form. Supported by Long Ke and Long Su, his eyes were tightly shut, and he still had not recovered. Uncle Du is fine. It's just that he had used too much power earlier and was greatly affected. His physical body and primordial spirit are under unimaginable pressure, and his own strength has been depleted. Fortunately, he has the immortal Shen body and the azure spirit armor, these two terrifying techniques. In addition, he himself is extraordinary, far surpassing ordinary people. Therefore, at this time, he has only fainted. It may take some time for him to recover, but his life is not in danger. Lu Jingyun said as he checked on Du Xiaofu's condition, exhaled, and said. These words also caused everyone to feel relieved in their hearts, and the worry in their hearts slowly receded. Du Xiaofu's current appearance was very miserable. His entire body was soaked in blood, and one of his legs was broken. However, what was surprising was that the broken leg was gradually growing back. The dozen or so elites from the 3,000 boundless worlds knew that this was the effect of the immortal Shen body. As long as Du Xiaofu was not truly dead, no matter how heavy his injuries were, his physical body would recover on its own. How are everyone's injuries? Did anyone die? A powerhouse at the first level of meditative oblivion realm spoke as he scanned his surroundings. In the previous terrifying collision, although they had the protection of Du Xiaofu's 8 trigrams and did not have to face the Blood Ancestor's direct attack, the residual power produced was enough to make these elites, even if they were at their peak, suffer greatly. Therefore, what everyone was most concerned about now was the situation of the elites. This battle was a rare meditative realm elite from the 33 heavens. If any one of them died, it would be a great loss. No one died, but there are dozens of elites who are seriously injured. After a short observation, Lu Jingyun and the others breathed a sigh of relief. This result made them feel extremely gratified. The dozens of elites who were seriously injured were all at the meditative realm elite. As long as they did not die, it would not be difficult to bring them back to the 33 heavens and return to their peak. After this battle with the Blood Ancestor, perhaps some of them would be able to comprehend something special and even improve their cultivation. After the battle with the Blood Ancestor, dozens of elites in the meditative realm were injured. There are only about 100 of them left. They won't be able to fight in the 18 levels of hell, so the situation we will face will only get worse. Someone said in a deep voice with a frown. With these elites in the meditative realm, the elites had been able to push their way to the 11th level of hell and face the Blood Ancestor head-on. Now, however, they had lost a lot of elites, which was a bad thing. It would be even more difficult to break into the depths of the 18 levels of hell. I wonder how the Blood Ancestor is doing? Lu Jingyun suddenly said, pulling everyone's thoughts back to reality. Du Xiaofu had fought the Blood Ancestor with all his strength. As the elites who supported the 8 trigrams, they could naturally see how intense the battle was. They could imagine that even if the Blood Ancestor was not dead, his current condition would not be much better than Du Xiaofu's. In other words, as long as the elites took action, they would definitely be able to take him down. Find that old ghost and kill him, the elites said in a gloomy voice. Their eyes were like lightning as they began to look around, trying to find traces of the Blood Ancestor. Don't let him escape, Lu Jingyun said coldly. His eyes shot out an intense light that pierced through the void like 2 sharp swords. He waved his hand and pulled the dozens of elites in the meditative realm to his side, sending them into an independent space. This space was similar to Du Xiaofu's ancient desolate space. Swoosh, long fault rose into the air, and a powerful force came crashing down, suppressing the remaining energy that was still rolling in the surroundings. heaven and earth returned to a clear state, and nothing could hide. Old ghost, where do you think you're going? Lu Yuxiao suddenly shouted. Her exquisite body instantly rushed out and chased in a certain direction. The other elites also moved at the same time. Each of them used all their strength and moved at full speed. In their line of sight, an old figure was fleeing in panic in the distance. This old figure had lost both his arms, and his aura was extremely weak. Who else could this person be other than the overbearing and murderous blood ancestor? We can't let him escape. Cries rang out from all around. The remaining 100+ meditative forgetfulness powerhouses of the 33 heavens unleashed all of their abilities to chase after the blood ancestor. Everyone's nerves were stretched taut, and they did not slow down in the slightest. As long as they caught up to the old ghost, they would have a great chance of killing him in his current state. Little bastards, this ancestor is not someone you can kill. In the distance, the fleeing blood ancestor broke through space again and again, not daring to look back. The murderous light in his eyes had already faded, and he no longer had the high and mighty attitude that he always had. One day this ancestor will make you pay a price 1,000,000 times, 1,000,000 times. Only then will I be able to appease the hatred in my heart. The blood ancestor had lost both his arms, and his legs constantly broke through space. As he fled, he cursed. If it weren't for the fact that his strength had been greatly reduced, he would have turned around and fought again. Du Xiaofu, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, Long Fault, Long Su. The blood ancestor remembered each and every one of them. One day, he would make them pay for what they had done today. Chapter 29-22. You should focus on saving your life first. Whether or not you can escape from our hands is still another matter. Hearing the blood ancestor's words, Lu Jingyun could not help but sneer as he replied. The other experts of the 33 heavens also had cold expressions on their faces as they sneered. They naturally understood what the blood ancestor was thinking. As a powerhouse who had been infamous since ancient times and possessed a body that carried the Tao, he had walked down his own path of the great Tao and escaped the shackles of the 33 heavens. Just how transcendent was he? Normally speaking, an expert who carried the Tao was an existence that stood above all living beings and looked down on everything. However, in recent years, ever since he escaped the suppression of the primordial phoenix, the blood ancestor first encountered Lu Xiaoyu and was injured by him. He even had one of his wings broken, which was extremely serious, and his strength was greatly reduced. Today, in the 11th level of hell, he had fallen at the hands of a group of weak creatures. The injuries he suffered were even worse than back then. The blood ancestor could not accept such an outcome, and his heart was filled with hatred. His hatred for Du Xiaofu, Lu Jingyun, Long Ke, and the others was even greater than his hatred for Lu Xiaoyu. This was a humiliation that was enough to make him the laughingstock of all living beings. How could the blood ancestor not feel his teeth itching? Sharp-tongued brat, not only you, but even your father won't be able to escape the attack of the Devil Clan. Just wait to be beheaded. Lu Jingyun's words caused the blood ancestor to become even more furious. He turned his head and roared loudly, his eyes shooting out a sharp light like a knife. His hatred was monstrous, but he could not do anything to the group of weak creatures behind him. Right now, if he did not escape quickly, he would really be in great danger. A powerhouse who carried the Tao has actually become a stray dog. If I were a member of the Devil Clan, I would feel ashamed to be associated with you. Long Su also smirked as he chased after him and mocked. This old thing probably used up all his luck in the ancient era and walked out of the burial void mountain of the Yinqiong Wudao heaven specifically to give us weak creatures a beating. Long Ke did not hold back at all and directly mocked him like this. Mongrel old bird, if you have the guts, let's continue the fight. Let's see how we'll suppress you, pluck out all your feathers, and use your flesh to make a pot of chicken soup. An old man from the 33 heavens had a chuckle on his face as he chased along with the others. At the same time, he also spoke some mocking words. Old ghost, don't run if you have the guts. Aren't we all ants in your eyes? Come and fight me. Seeing that both your arms are broken, we will naturally go easy on you. "Come on, old bird, do you only know how to run like a dog?" The remaining 100-plus meditative forgetfulness powerhouses of the 33 heavens began to hurl insults at the blood ancestor, each and every word aimed at the blood ancestor's pain. The old man who was fleeing for his life had a gloomy expression on his face. He no longer spoke and only focused on running for his life. He knew that these people's goal was to provoke him with their words. They wanted to infuriate him so that he would stop and continue fighting. The blood ancestor was someone who had lived for countless years. Naturally, he would not easily believe the nonsense that these people said. That was an insult to his intelligence. However, knowing was one thing. Every word from those people was like a sharp knife that stabbed into his heart, making the blood ancestor feel pain and hatred. Ever since the beginning of the world and the birth of a pre-celestial life form like him, the blood ancestor had never suffered such humiliation. It made him want to go crazy. However, anger was anger. Reason told him that he absolutely could not stay. Otherwise, he would be in danger. "Old ghost, don't run." More than 100 people from the 33 heavens chased after him with all their might. They wanted to block the blood ancestor's path and stop him. However, the old ghost's foundation was too deep. Even though he was severely injured, he was still running very fast. Coupled with the characteristics of his hell blood phoenix, his speed was extremely terrifying. He was gradually getting rid of everyone. Everyone chased closely behind the blood ancestor, but they were unable to touch him. This old ghost doesn't seem to be purely trying to escape. Otherwise, he would have been able to enter the 10th level of hell above the 11th level of hell. An expert beside Lu Jingyun and the others frowned and said, "He's leading us around in circles. It seems like he wants to go around to the entrance of the 12th level of hell and enter even deeper." Someone next to him said, clearly understanding the blood ancestor's intentions. Just as he said, the blood ancestor was quickly moving through the 11th level of hell. However, even if he did not enter the 10th level of hell, he could not find a place to hide. Unknowingly, the old ghost was moving closer and closer to the entrance of the 12th level of hell. It seemed that he wanted to enter the 12th level of hell or even deeper. That's right, the blood ancestor is not a fool. If he goes to the 10th level of hell, we will definitely chase him all the way there. If he escapes to the top, he will enter the divine demon battle realm. If he really reaches that step, it will be the greatest disadvantage for him. Therefore, if he wants to live, the best place for him to go is the 12th level of hell or even deeper. There, he will be able to obtain the protection of the powerful demon race. He will also be able to obtain a certain amount of resources to recover his cultivation. Lu Jingyun nodded and said. When everyone heard this, they all nodded in agreement. Above the 11th level of hell, the several million of them had swept their way through. If the blood ancestor were to go up, once he broke into the ranks of the 33 heavens, it would be tantamount to walking into a trap. With the strength he had left, it was simply not enough to protect himself from the siege of the 33 heavens powerhouses. And if he were to enter the 12th level of hell or even deeper, the footsteps of these several million people would inevitably be obstructed by the demon race. For the blood ancestor, this was a rare opportunity to escape. Once there, if he were to encounter more powerful demons, the blood ancestor could borrow the strength of these demons and continue to heal his wounds. Moreover, with countless demon powerhouses moving out, he might even have the opportunity to witness the miserable deaths of so many powerhouses of the 33 heavens. We absolutely cannot allow him to escape into the 12th level of hell. Otherwise, with that old ghost here, our movements will quickly be discovered by the demon race. At that time, if we want to forcefully push forward, it will be incomparably difficult. A powerhouse said with a solemn expression. Along the way, the group had simply been unstoppable. The demon race had not been able to form any effective resistance at all. This was thanks to the isolation between the 18 levels of hell, making it difficult for news to spread. If the blood ancestor were to successfully escape and enter the 12th level of hell, the demon race would be prepared. What they would have to face next would be an unimaginably tough battle. The demon ancestor, the 2 demon attendants, and several demon generals were all terrifying overlords. Among them, the demon ancestor had undoubtedly recovered to the Tao-bearing realm. If he wanted to trample on them, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. At that time, many of the several million people on their side would fall and be buried in the 18 levels of hell. Therefore, such a scene was not something the powerhouses of the 33 heavens were willing to see. However, Lu Jingyun's words were like a bucket of cold water that had been poured over everyone's heads while they were deep in thought. His voice was solemn as he said, "I'm afraid our whereabouts have already been discovered by the demon race. Whether others know or not is impossible to predict, but for the demon ancestor, he must have already seen through everything." There was not much emotion in his words, as if this matter was within his expectations. Hearing this, the more than 100 meditative experts of the 33 heavens felt their hearts turn cold. However, no one was surprised. After thinking about it for a moment, they found it to be reasonable. Who was the demon ancestor? He was a fiend god who had walked out of the primal chaos and opened up the 18 levels of hell. He had fought against Pangu, Exalted Celestial, and other powerhouses, and caused Pangu World and Exalted Heaven to be covered in blood. There was no doubt about his strength. It was naturally not difficult for him to see through the movements of several million people. Being discovered by the demon ancestor is one thing, but I'm afraid the demon race will start to think of ways to deal with us. If that's the case, not to mention chasing after the blood ancestor, even advancing deeper into the 18 levels of hell will be incomparably difficult," said a meditative expert of the human race, his heart filled with worry. "Let's hope the demon race slows down a little. At the very least, they'll let us smoothly reach the 14th or 15th level of hell. Even if it becomes difficult to deal with the demon race at that time, for us, this trip can be considered a considerable harvest." An expert furrowed his brows and lamented. They didn't enter the 18 levels of hell to annihilate the demon race, but to investigate the specific situation here. At the same time, they also wanted to deal with a large number of demons to reduce the pressure in the future battle. As long as they could push through and even meet the demon ancestor, then their trip would be an absolute success. During this process, countless demons would definitely die at the hands of the 33 heavens experts. However, if they encountered a large-scale resistance from the demon race too early, then this goal would be very difficult to achieve. Let's not think so much for now. Let's hurry and chase. That old ghost has already escaped to the entrance of the 12th level of hell. Long Falt's eyes narrowed as he looked at the blood ancestor in the distance and said, "Everyone didn't delay and continued to pursue with all their might." More than 23rd level meditative experts followed closely behind the blood ancestor, so as to avoid being shaken off. As for the others, they rushed towards Chu Dao Ju, Ling Feng, Long San, Little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, and the other millions of immortal realm experts of the 33 heavens. Then, they led everyone towards the entrance of the 12th level of hell. A strange scene appeared in this space. A ruthless old man who had lost both his arms was fleeing in front, and behind him were more than 20 experts who were chasing after him non-stop. Even further behind, millions of people were majestically advancing like a fierce army. Everyone's goal was to rush towards the direction of a broken seal. It didn't take long for the blood ancestor to plunge headfirst into the terrifying hellfire. This old ghost, truly a centipede that dies but never falls down. Lu Jingyun and the others felt helpless as they gave chase with all their might. Soon, they also rushed into the raging flames that led to the 12th level of hell. Immediately after, the millions of experts of the 33 heavens arrived. Under the protection of many meditative realm experts, they threw themselves into the flames and were all enveloped by the terrifying flames. Huff, huff, huff. The boundless flames burned fiercely, and they were so hot that they could burn through one's body and soul. This time, no one thought about tempering their bodies. They all moved with all their might and pushed forward. HM? The Yu Qing Divine Emperor has awakened. Under the guidance of an expert, Du Xiaofu finally woke up slowly and opened his eyes. "Xiaofu, how are you?" "Boss, how are you?" "Dad, you're awake." In an instant, Chu Daoju, Ling Feng, Long San, Little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, and the others all gathered around. At this time, Du Xiaofu's injuries had all healed. His body was undamaged, as if it had not been damaged at all. It was simply perfect. However, his aura was still very weak. The battle had consumed a lot of energy, and it was difficult for him to fully recover in a short period of time. Fortunately, Lu Jingyun had fed him a precious medicine, which allowed him to wake up in such a short period of time. "How's the blood ancestor? Have we caught him?" After Du Xiaofu woke up, he shook his head fiercely and broke free from the expert's arm that was supporting him. He immediately asked such a question. He was most concerned about the blood ancestor's situation. After spending a lot of effort, he naturally hoped that the blood ancestor had been killed by him. However, Du Xiaofu knew very well that the chances of that happening were very slim. The blood ancestor has escaped. Brother Jingyun and the others are chasing after him. Little Xingxing immediately reported the situation to Du Xiaofu. At the same time, he took out a precious medicine and handed it to his father. He escaped? Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and reached out a hand to push back the treasured medicine that Little Star handed over. He did not feel disappointed. Instead, he felt happy. The blood ancestor's escape could only mean one thing, and that was that his current situation was very bad. Otherwise, he would not have fled in fear when facing Lu Jingyun and the others. The blood ancestor is too strong. I'm afraid it won't be easy to kill him. We are currently heading towards the 12th layer of hell. If we can't catch up to him, we can only temporarily ignore him. A powerhouse at the second level of the meditative realm said to Du Xiaofu. This was an old man who was many times older than Du Xiaofu. However, at this moment, his old eyes were filled with deep reverence for the purple-robed young man in front of him. This kid was an extremely abnormal guy. It was through his hard work that he was able to gather the power of more than 200 meditative realm powerhouses to fight against the blood ancestor. If it weren't for Du Xiaofu, forget about chasing after the blood ancestor, the millions of people from the 33 heavens would have been defeated in one blow. There was no doubt about the blood ancestor's strength. That's all we can do for now. Du Xiaofu nodded and said. In an instant, he thought of many questions, including what Lu Jingyun had said about whether the demon race in the depths of the 18th layer of hell had been alarmed. However, Du Xiaofu suppressed these thoughts in his heart. Now wasn't the time to consider them. I'll heal first and restore my strength as soon as possible. Du Xiaofu called out to everyone and gave them some instructions. Then, he opened the ancient desolate space and planned to go into seclusion to heal his injuries. The hellfire space was extremely vast. If one wanted to pass through it and enter the 12th layer of hell, it would take a very long time, at the very least several years. However, Du Xiaofu's ancient desolate space had a time acceleration of nearly 100 times. He could use this time to restore his strength so that once he entered the 12th layer of hell, he could fight with all his strength. Everyone who has been injured should also enter here to recover. Du Xiaofu was the first to move, entering the desolate ancient space. The others who had been injured in the previous battle looked at each other, and without much hesitation, they followed closely behind. With the departure of a few meditative realm experts, a large number of immortal realm experts lost their protection and were threatened by the hellfire space. They had no choice but to enter the ancient desolate space together. As most of the experts went into seclusion, the previously bustling hellfire suddenly became a little cold and cheerless. Ahead of them, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, Lu Cheng, Long Ke, Long Su, and the others were still chasing after the blood ancestor with all their strength. The old ghost fled extremely quickly. With everyone chasing after him, they couldn't do anything in a short period of time. They could only maintain this state for the time being. I hope that passing through the hellfire space will consume a large amount of that old bird's strength. When we enter the 12th layer of hell, we'll take him down in one fell swoop. Lu Jingyun's eyes flashed as he spoke. While the demons were either in seclusion or in pursuit, Dongli Crimson Phoenix and Chen Yen had already led a large number of demons out of the 16th level of hell and entered the seal between the 13th and 12th levels of hell. Dongli Crimson Phoenix and Chen Yen had led a large number of demons out of the 16th level of hell and entered the seal between the 13th and 12th levels of hell. These demon race experts were all ferocious individuals. Their cultivations were terrifying, and their numbers were incomparably large. There were many more of them than the millions of people who had come from the 33 heavens. And the most terrifying of them all, besides Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan, there were also many who were in the meditative realm. But this was nothing. The real experts of the devil race were the three who looked terrifying. One of them was like a person whose skin had been peeled off. His entire body was covered in blood, causing one's scalp to tingle. It was incomparably terrifying. The second person's face was deathly pale and emitted a gloomy aura. Just looking at him would cause one's feet to turn cold and their entire body to tense up for no reason. The third person was a tall and sturdy giant with a pair of demon horns on his head. They were like two halberds that could slaughter the heavens. This person's body fluctuated with an unconcealable fiendish aura. Killing and ruthlessness coexisted, and it was obvious at a glance that he was a terrifying master. These three people were the three demon generals of the demon race. Their cultivations were extraordinary, and their strength shook the world. During the ancient times, they'd slaughtered the 33 heavens and made a name for themselves. They were respectively called Demon General Blood God, Demon General Ming Luo, and Demon General Desolation. These three demon generals are all at the Dao Vessel realm. Even if their injuries haven't healed, their ferocious might is still there. His gaze swept past the three demon generals, and then a wisp of a cold smile appeared on the corners of Dongli Qihuang's mouth as he muttered, "Du Xiaofu, let's see how you'll survive this." Chapter 29-23. Du Xiaofu's killing intent. This time, Du Xiaofu must die a graveless death. Even if it's really as the Lord said and we're unable to kill him, we absolutely can't allow him to continue jumping about. By Dongli Qihuang's side, Chen Yan's gaze was icy cold as well, and he gritted his teeth fiercely as he spoke. Both of them were constantly thinking about how to annihilate Du Xiaofu and eliminate this enormous calamity. However, after so many years, no matter how their strengths improved, they were actually unable to keep up with Du Xiaofu's footsteps. No matter if it was in divine martial world all those years ago or after they entered the 33 heavens, that kid had always left them far behind. He was simply a freak. To other living beings, it was like cultivating, but to Du Xiaofu, it was simply like flying. At the same time that Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan felt extremely helpless, they felt an extremely heavy blow as well. But it was different this time. They'd awakened their ancient memories a long time ago, and they'd even returned to the 18 levels of hell to ceaselessly recover. Their strengths had advanced by leaps and bounds a long time ago, and they were absolutely not inferior to Du Xiaofu. Not to mention they had the three demon generals accompanying them this time, so killing Du Xiaofu was absolutely as easy as flipping their palms. However, Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan were very clearly aware in their hearts that there would absolutely be an enormous variable if they wanted to truly annihilate Du Xiaofu. This was the fundamental reason why the Lord repeatedly instructed them not to force it. No matter how Lu Xiaofu arrives, he's unable to stop us. Let me see exactly what sort of unexpected event has occurred to Du Xiaofu this time that would affect us from killing Du Xiaofu. Dongli Qihuang's eyes were deep while his entire body emanated killing intent, and he spoke in a cold and piercing tone. The biggest factor they could think of was the Lord of the 3,000 sectors, Lu Xiaoyu. Other than that, there was probably no one else in this world who could stop the attacks of the two demon servants, the three demon generals, and the many demon clan experts. Therefore, Dongli Qihuang really wanted to know what his master was thinking, to think that they would not be able to kill Du Xiaofu. We're about to reach the 12th layer of hell, but Du Xiaofu and those people from the 33 heavens still haven't appeared. I fear they've encountered a huge obstacle. Suddenly, Chen Yan glanced to the side and spoke. They started from the 16th level of hell, passed through the 15th, 14th, and 13th levels, and were about to enter the 12th level of hell. By the time they started moving, Du Xiaofu had already moved from the 10th level of hell to the 11th. However, after such a long period of time, Dongli Qihuang, Chen Yan, and the others from the devil race had passed through numerous levels of hell, Yet they still hadn't seen Du Xiaofu appear. They could guess that those millions of experts from the 33 heavens had definitely encountered a huge obstacle that caused their footsteps to be obstructed. It's good that they've encountered an obstacle. Every single step they take causes the deaths of a large number of experts from our devil race. No matter what, we must make the 33 heavens pay a sufficient price this time. Dong Liqiuang's face had turned gloomy, and he spoke hatefully. Since they dared to come cause trouble in our 18 levels of hell, they're simply courting death. This is truly a case of, there's a path to heaven, but he doesn't want to take it, and instead, he wants to come to hell. Chen Yen spoke coldly as well, and his tone carried boundless coldness. The 18 levels of hell were their world, and it was established by the Lord Devil Ancestor during the ancient times. It belonged to the devil race. However, during the ancient times, Pangu had set up a grand formation to seal this place, causing it to become a land of death. At that time, Dongli Chihuang and Chen Yen had been suppressed in all heaven along with the Lord Devil Ancestor's body. After that, they'd experienced numerous reincarnations before they'd finally awakened in this life and returned to the 18 levels of hell. However, Du Xiaofu and the other members of the 33 heavens seemed to not take the 18 levels of hell seriously, and they'd actually come in large numbers and aggressively charged into this place. To the devil race, this wasn't just a challenge, it was a humiliation as well. So, no matter which aspect it was from, they had to be ferocious and teach those experts of the 33 heavens a lesson. They had to tell them that this was the devil race's territory, and they couldn't rashly set foot in it. No matter what, more than half of those millions of experts had to be left behind to be buried in the 18 levels of hell and become souls beneath the blades of the devil race. It's the 12th level of hell. I'm afraid we should be able to encounter those people here. Dongli Chihuang looked up. It was as if he'd seen through the boundless hellfire and entered the 12th level of hell. He was actually looking forward to meeting Du Xiaofu and the others and fighting them. Let's go. Let's have a good time with Du Xiaofu and the others. Qin Yan shouted. Then, without another word, he led a large number of devils and continued to move through the terrifying hellfire, heading for an even higher level of hell. Elsewhere, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Lu Ying, Long Ke, Long Su, and more than 23rd stage meditative realm experts of the 33 heavens were still pursuing the blood ancestor with all their might. We'll soon pass through this broken seal and enter the 12th level of hell, but that old bastard is too cunning. If this continues, we won't be able to catch him. An old man from the 33 heavens said solemnly as he watched the blood ancestor's figure rapidly fleeing downward. They'd pursued him for many years and passed through the barrier of this broken seal, but they still couldn't catch up to the blood ancestor. That old bird with mixed feathers, even though he'd suffered such a huge injury, didn't run carelessly in the slightest. More than 20 cultivators at the 3rd level of meditative forgetfulness were unable to capture him under such circumstances. This made them feel extremely helpless. Let's just take one step at a time. If we really can't catch him, then we can only give up. Once we enter the 12th level of hell, we'll definitely be harassed by countless devils. When the time comes, we'd better fight with all our strength. Soon, another expert spoke up. No one had any good ideas about how to deal with the blood ancestor. Du Xiaofu was already heavily injured. He couldn't gather everyone's strength to stop the blood ancestor. Right now, the only thing they had to worry about was the devils in the 12th level of hell and the alarmed devil experts in the depths of hell. As for whether or not they could suppress the blood ancestor, that was up to the will of the heavens. Just as Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Lu Cheng, Long Ke, and Long Su were talking to the experts of the 33 heavens, a wave of energy suddenly came from behind them, which attracted everyone's attention. Has Master Du recovered from his injuries? Lu Qiao, one of the siblings of the Lu family, suddenly let out a soft cry of surprise and turned her gaze to the back. The other experts did the same. In their line of sight, the figure of a purple-robed young man appeared. This purple-robed young man's aura was vigorous and powerful. As he walked through the flames of hell, he caused a huge wave of energy. Who else could this person be other than Du Xiaofu? I really can't see any injuries. The Yu Qing Divine Emperor was so heavily injured. How could he recover in such a short time? The other third-stage meditative realm experts were all stunned. They looked at Du Xiaofu with eyes full of disbelief. In the previous battle with the Blood Ancestor, many people of the 33 heavens had been injured, including Du Xiaofu himself. They all knew that without enough time to recuperate, it would be extremely difficult for that guy to recover to his peak. But now, after several years of traveling through the flames of hell, that kid had reappeared as lively as a dragon and as lively as a tiger. This was truly shocking. The Yu Qing Divine Emperor grasped 4 primordial laws at the same time. He must have used the law of space to go to another independent space to recuperate. Furthermore, with the power of the law of time, he should have had more time to recuperate. So, it's not surprising that something like this happened. One of the experts said. Hearing this, everyone nodded. Although they were surprised, it wasn't hard for them to think of this point. The law of time could affect a space, causing it to have the effect of accelerating time. It was a good place to recuperate. Unfortunately, most living beings couldn't grasp 2 primordial laws at the same time. They couldn't use such a method. Du Xiaofu grasped 4 primordial laws at the same time. Breaking through to the void path was definitely a piece of cake for him. Hence, it was natural for him to recover so quickly. It's not just the Yu Qing Divine Emperor. Everyone else is recovering quickly as well. Following this, many people realized that with Du Xiaofu's reappearance, the large group of experts that he had invited into the ancient desolate space had also reappeared. Large numbers of figures had returned to the flames of hell. What was even more shocking was that all of these people were now full of energy. Their strength had reached its peak. This scene didn't look like a tired army that had just fought against the demon race. They looked like a mighty army that was full of vigor. But of course, everyone was happy to see such an outcome. With their battle strength recovered, the battle against the demon race would naturally be much easier. Even if there were fierce clashes, there would be fewer casualties. Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, and the other members of the Lu family smiled. Of course, they knew that Du Xiaofu possessed the ancient desolate space. Such a treasure was much more precious than they had imagined. We're about to enter the 12th layer of hell. Prepare for battle. Behind them, after Du Xiaofu walked out of the desolate ancient space, he could sense that they were about to enter the 12th layer of hell with a quick glance. When they heard his words, the surrounding experts perked up. Their expressions grew solemn as they prepared for another battle against the demon race. Everyone knew that the demon race's resistance would only grow more and more terrifying. The pressure on them would also increase. Moreover, they didn't know when the demon race would reveal their true strength. That would be the most difficult moment for them. We've been in the 18th layer of hell for so long. Jiangchen has probably sensed our presence long ago. Du Xiaofu muttered as he thought to himself. Because of his relationship with Jiangchen, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. But no matter what, his old friend was now the demon ancestor. There was no longer any room for sentiment. He'd severed all ties with Jiangchen back in the first layer of hell. By now, Du Xiaofu had used the ancient desolate space and the precious medicine his master, Yu Yuqian, had given him to recover his full strength. In fact, he'd even advanced. What awaited him now was a bloody battle, one that would last until he couldn't continue. The only thing he didn't know was whether he'd run into Jiangchen again. We've arrived. Yu Qing Divine Emperor, let's go. Just as Du Xiaofu was lost in thought, an expert's voice pulled him back to reality. He opened his eyes and looked around. Sure enough, they'd arrived at the edge of the Hellfire domain. Let's go. Du Xiaofu waved his hand and took the lead. In an instant he charged into the 12th layer of hell. The other experts weren't slow either. Their majestic aura shook the sky. The arrival of millions of experts was like a giant mountain being tossed into a calm lake. The 12th layer of hell began to shake. The demon race was quickly alerted. Before long, they realized that experts had invaded. Kill the demon race. Do as usual. Du Xiaofu shouted. His figure immediately charged into the demon race's crowd and began a massacre. He observed for a moment. Lu Jingyun and the other 20 or so experts were still chasing after the blood ancestor. However, the old ghost was extremely cunning. He kept charging toward where the demon race experts were gathered. When the meditated demon race experts attacked Lu Jingyun and the others, the blood ancestor took the opportunity to escape. He didn't have the slightest desire to fight. Clearly, he only wanted to escape as quickly as possible and find a safe place to recover. Old ghost, I won't let you escape again today. Du Xiaofu's eyes flashed. He stared into the distance and softly muttered to himself. He no longer killed the weaker demon race experts. Instead, his figure flashed, and in the next instant, he appeared beside Lu Jingyun and the others. Everyone, help me fight again and kill this old ghost. Du Xiaofu shouted coldly to the 20 or so third-level meditated realm experts. Alright. Everyone agreed without hesitation. They quickly gathered around Du Xiaofu. Then, a vast 8 trigrams appeared around the purple-robed young man. It brazenly occupied the void. The 20 or so meditated realm experts were familiar with this process. They divided up the work, forming groups of 3 and occupying the 8 trigrams. They all displayed their terrifying cultivation and channeled their power into Du Xiaofu's body through the veins of the void 8 trigrams. Old ghost, leave your life behind. Du Xiaofu shouted loudly. He held the heavenly palace of purple gold in his hand. After gathering the power of many experts, he was like a god of war. His body instantly grew to 10,000 feet tall, and he stood tall and upright. The broadsword in his hand also grew in size. He brazenly slashed out, directly toward the fleeing blood ancestor. Although there were no more than 200 meditated realm experts to help him this time, there were still more than 23rd level meditated realm experts controlling the 8 trigrams. Although their power was weaker than before, it was still very terrifying. At least for the blood ancestor, he was completely unmatched. If he rashly fought back, he would definitely die. Little bastard, I will spare your life for now. But all of this will be repaid 10,000 times over. The blood ancestor did not dare to stop. He covered his head and fled like a rat. At the same time, he kept turning back and forth to avoid Du Xiaofu's domineering sword. Du Xiaofu's sword slashed at the air. It did not touch the blood ancestor's body. The huge sword moved the sky and brazenly landed on the ground in an unrivaled manner. There was an earth-shattering explosion, and the whole world was shaken. Creak! The ground instantly cracked open, and a boundless abyss appeared. It spanned across the land and extended for tens of thousands of miles. The scene was terrifying. And it was also in this attack that, although it did not hit the blood ancestor, it still affected countless surrounding demons. In an instant, they died without a trace and turned into a bloody mist. Old ghost, don't run. Seeing that the blood ancestor was escaping, Du Xiaofu shouted again and chased after him. Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, Long Ke, Long Su, and more than 23rd level meditated realm experts poured all their power into Du Xiaofu's body. Under the support of these experts, Du Xiaofu's speed was pushed to the extreme. It was terrifyingly fast. He passed through the boundless space and quickly approached the blood ancestor. Little bastard, you really are like a ghost that won't go away. Sensing the situation behind him, the blood ancestor gritted his teeth and cursed. He was too heavily injured. Otherwise, how could he be so cowardly in front of these juniors? Seeing that Du Xiaofu was supported by a powerful force and was constantly closing in on him, the blood ancestor's face was dripping with sweat. If Du Xiaofu could only display the cultivation of the 3rd level of meditative realm, he would not be afraid at all. Although his current speed of escape was not fast, he would definitely not lose to an ordinary cultivator of the reincarnation realm. But now, Du Xiaofu's strength was definitely far beyond the 3rd level of meditative realm. That brat's physical body and primordial spirit were too abnormal. He was actually able to withstand such a heavy power and circulate it freely. It could be imagined that Du Xiaofu was only lacking in comprehension. As long as the opportunity came, the 3rd level of meditative realm would be trampled under his feet. Such an enemy made the blood ancestor feel incomparably solemn. If this ancestor wasn't in the 18 levels of hell and wanted to escape, how could I allow ants like you to follow me like mad dogs? The blood ancestor roared hatefully, his heart filled with helplessness. If he were in the 33 heavens, it would be very easy for him to escape. He could even directly cross the boundless world with a single thought. Du Xiaofu and the others would not be able to do anything to him. However, there was a seal between each of the 18 levels of hell, so he was greatly restricted and could not freely use his techniques. Now, the blood ancestor had no intention of fighting. He only wanted to escape. Only by shaking off the pursuit of Du Xiaofu and the others would he have any hope of surviving. Old ghost, you're dead today. Didn't you want the origin of chaos on me? Come and take it. Du Xiaofu shouted from behind, constantly mocking the blood ancestor. He was determined to kill the blood ancestor. Today, he would definitely not let this old ghost escape so easily. Chapter 29-24. Du Xiaofu watched as the blood ancestor kept changing directions. He didn't attack again. Instead, he chased after him with all his might. Seeing that the distance between them was getting closer and closer, Du Xiaofu couldn't help but sneer. The 12th level of hell was so vast that it would take a long time for the old ghost to reach the entrance to the 13th level of hell. That amount of time was enough for him to catch him 100 times. When he thought of this, Du Xiaofu felt a chill in his heart. He was determined not to let the blood ancestor have an easy time. That old bastard had repeatedly made a move with the intention of seizing the quintessence of chaos from him, and he coveted it extremely ferociously. If it wasn't for an unexpected event, then he would have absolutely succeeded a long time ago. Since he was an enemy, Du Xiaofu had no reason to let him go. Kill! He shouted again. His murderous intent surged as he charged at the blood ancestor. The power of the 4 primordial laws enveloped him. Du Xiaofu pushed his space laws to the extreme. His speed was so fast that it made one's hair stand on end. In an instant, he had traversed millions of miles. Under such circumstances, the distance between him and the blood ancestor was getting closer and closer. Little bastard, fight me one-on-one if you have the guts. The blood ancestor couldn't help but shout when he sensed this situation. His heart was filled with boundless shock, but he couldn't turn around and fight Du Xiaofu. He had only said these words to vent the anger in his heart. He didn't expect Du Xiaofu to fight him one-on-one. Moreover, even if Du Xiaofu was willing, he might not be able to defeat him. The blood ancestor, whose name had once shaken the 33 heavens and made even the ancient era tremble, had fallen to such a state? This made the blood ancestor extremely angry, but there was nothing he could do. If he had known that he would be in such a predicament, he wouldn't have tried to steal Du Xiaofu's primal chaos origin on the 11th level of hell. The blood ancestor wanted to slap himself in the face. He had only himself to blame for all of this. Bastard old bird, prepare to die. Origin murdering sky sword, kill. Just as the blood ancestor was feeling resentful, Du Xiaofu had already closed in on him. A loud roar that shook the 9 heavens came from his throat. Then, the 4 primordial laws began to rotate, intertwine, become more and more condensed. Whoosh! A terrifying sword aura took shape. It was like a divine sword that could split the heavens. Then, it slashed down at the blood ancestor. This sword light was extremely terrifying. It condensed the origin energy of the 4 primordial laws, and it even had the origin energy of the great Tao circulating within it. It was as if it had the might to split the heavens and earth apart. As the sword, the earth, and the earth, the heavens, the earth and the earth, the heavens and the earth, and rumble. As the light sword slashed down, the winds and clouds in the sky were stirred up. It was as if heaven and earth had been turned upside down. The entire world shook. This scene looked like a heavenly pillar toppling, causing one's heart to sway. In the blink of an eye, the fleeing blood ancestor was drenched in cold sweat. His legs also felt weak. This was a feeling he had not experienced in countless years. Du Xiaofu's sword chi like this, the blood ancestor felt as if he had been locked down by a powerful force. It was difficult for him to even turn around and escape. At this moment, he experienced the taste of despair, and he felt powerless. Du Xiaofu's attack was like a divine punishment from the heavens. There was nowhere to hide. Die, old ghost! Du Xiaofu roared. His brows furrowed, and he revealed a ferocious expression. He gathered all of his strength and controlled the origin-murdering sky sword's sword chi like this. Du Xiaofu was confident that if this attack hit the blood ancestor, who was locked down by a powerful force, it would definitely be able to severely injure him even if he didn't die. When that time came, it would be a piece of cake for him to trample on him. The sword chi burned fiercely, as if it was going to split open the sky. It broke through all obstacles and went straight for the blood ancestor's head. Du Xiaofu, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, Long Ke, Long Su, and the others all focused on this attack at the same time. In the distance, many powerhouses of the 33 heavens who were fighting countless devils also sensed this scene, and all of them focused their attention on the battle situation here. It was as if they could already see the final result. The blood ancestor would be cut in half by this sword. Even if he didn't die, he would lose half of his life. Du Xiaofu roared. The sword chi's speed increased a bit, and it was about to cut into the blood ancestor's head. However, at this moment, a terrifying demonic aura flew over from the distance and instantly passed by the blood ancestor's side. Then, one could see a blood-red axe the size of a mountain fly through the air, directly blocking Du Xiaofu's sword chi between the blood ancestor and the blood ancestor. Boom! Accompanied by a loud noise, the entire world trembled violently. Du Xiaofu's origin sky-slaying sword and the axe fiercely collided. The moment before the two collided, Du Xiaofu had already discovered this sudden change. He wanted to stop, but the arrow was already on the bow and had to be released. Under the violent collision, a monstrous earthquake occurred, accompanied by an unparalleled storm of energy that swept in all directions and shook the 9 heavens. Du Xiaofu was directly shaken and sent tumbling extremely far away. The blood in his body roiled, and his entire face turned pale. He found it difficult to calm down. It was obvious that a powerhouse had rushed over and saved the blood ancestor. The cultivation of the person who had come was extremely terrifying. They didn't directly fight Du Xiaofu. Just by intercepting him, the terrifying shock produced caused Du Xiaofu to be injured again. Uncle Master Du, are you okay? Seeing Du Xiaofu retreat, Lu Jingyun and the others instantly withdrew all of their power. Their power was a burden to Du Xiaofu, and now that he was injured, they could only withdraw all of their power to ease Du Xiaofu's burden. I'm fine, Du Xiaofu replied, but his eyes were still looking in the direction of the blood ancestor. At this time, the area had been completely flattened by the storm, and everything had been reduced to nothingness. Even the ground had been forcefully scraped thousands of feet deep. In mid-air, the storm slowly dissipated, and Du Xiaofu could see the existence of 2 figures. One of them was the blood ancestor. His aura was even more withered, and it was obvious that the collision just now had caused him a lot of shock. The other person was a burly giant with 2 demonic horns on his head, like 2 halberds, rising into the sky. This person's body fluctuated with an unconcealable fiendish aura. Killing and ruthlessness coexisted, and it was obvious at a glance that he was a terrifying master. In his hand he held a blood-red giant axe, which was surrounded by endless demonic energy. It was incomparably terrifying. This person is... Du Xiaofu was surprised. He had never seen such a powerhouse before. It was obvious that this was one of the demons who had been suppressed in the 18 layers of hell. And from the little bit of strength he had just displayed, it could be inferred that this person's cultivation was absolutely terrifying. He was most likely in the carrier realm. When he thought of this, Du Xiaofu's heart couldn't help but sink. This person might be one of the demon generals of the demon race. Judging from his appearance, he should be called the Desolate Demon General. Lu Jingyun walked out with an incomparably solemn expression and came to Du Xiaofu's side. He had learned a lot about the demon race and knew a lot about them. Naturally, he also knew about the demon generals of the demon race. A devil general with a Dao bearer cultivation base. This is going to be troublesome. Du Xiaofu's face became gloomy again as he frowned and muttered to himself. They had come to the 12th layer of hell. Except for the encounter with the blood ancestor in the 11th layer of hell, their journey had been quite easy. They hadn't encountered any strong resistance from the demon race. But now, a demon general had appeared in front of them and saved the blood ancestor. This caused Du Xiaofu's heart to sink. The millions of people of the 33 heavens had pushed forward all the way. Were they going to stop here? Facing a demon general in the carrier realm, they would suffer heavy losses. The only thing they could really count on now was senior brother Lu Xiaoyou's arrangements. We can't fight anymore. Everyone gather and prepare to evacuate. Du Xiaofu thought for a moment and immediately said so. The group of experts beside him nodded when they heard this. Soon after, they passed down the order to the other millions of experts. Now that there was a carrier realm powerhouse in front of them, it was destined that it would be difficult to continue advancing unless strong reinforcements arrived. After Du Xiaofu's order was passed down, the millions of powerhouses of the 33 heavens quickly put down what they were doing and quickly surrounded the place where they were no longer entangling with the demon race. I hope senior brother has made some arrangements for this situation. Du Xiaofu thought in his heart and pinned all his hopes on senior brother Lu Xiaoyu. If it really didn't work, then he could only use the ancient desolate space to take the powerhouses and find a way to leave the 18 layers of hell. Before entering this place, senior brother Lu Xiaoyu had told him to preserve their strength. After all, now was not the time to fight the demon race. However, Du Xiaofu wasn't confident that he could escape from a carrier realm powerhouse. Today was bound to usher in a difficult battle. Previously, it was the blood ancestor who was being chased and killed, but now it was likely that they would be next. Jie 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 jie. Suddenly, just as Du Xiaofu was thinking in his heart, a burst of sinister laughter broke through the air and clearly entered Du Xiaofu's ears. Hearing this laughter, Du Xiaofu couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Dongli Qihuang is also here. This voice was incomparably familiar. It was none other than Dongli Qihuang, whom he had interacted with for many years. Since he was here, Chen Yan would definitely appear as well. Just as Du Xiaofu expected, the void in the distance trembled as Du Xiaofu watched. Then he saw boundless demon qi surging like a monstrous wave, pushing aside all obstacles and quickly arriving nearby, landing beside the blood ancestor and desolate demon general. Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan's figures suddenly appeared. Behind them was a dense mass of demon race figures. There were actually millions of them, and their momentum was even stronger than the people of the 33 heavens. This was the army of the demon race. Their momentum was like a rainbow, and they were incomparably terrifying. Just by standing there, this mass of figures gave off an extremely oppressive feeling, causing the powerhouses of the 33 heavens to palpitate. The demon race has arrived en masse. They really did learn of our movements. This is bad. It's impossible to continue advancing at full speed. Not only can we not go deeper into the 18 layers of hell, but it'll also be difficult to retreat. This is only the 12th layer of hell. I don't even know which layer the demon ancestor has reached. I'm afraid our operation this time won't be successful. The demon race is too alert. At this time, the millions of powerhouses of the 33 heavens quickly realized the seriousness of the matter. It wasn't difficult for them to imagine how things would progress next, and their hearts were incomparably heavy. After entering the 18 layers of hell for so long, this was the most difficult time they had encountered. Everyone knew very well that if they didn't find a way to leave, many of their lives would be lost in this space. It's not just Desolate Demon General, but Blood God Demon General and Ming Luo Demon General have also come. Lu Jingyun, who was standing beside Du Xiaofu, had an ugly look on his face. He saw that there were two powerhouses near Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan. One of them was like a living person who had been skinned alive. His whole body was dripping with blood and crimson red. It was indescribably terrifying. The other person had a deathly look on his face. His face was as pale as paper and exuded a gloomy aura. With a glance, it made people feel a chill from the soles of their feet and their whole body tense. However, although the appearance of these two people was not very good, the aura on their bodies was very deep and restrained. Even with Lu Jingyun's cultivation, he couldn't see through it. Judging from their appearance, they were the other two demon generals of the demon race. They were Blood God Demon General and Ming Luo Demon General. Blood God Demon General, Ming Luo Demon General, Desolate Demon General, three great demon generals have arrived. Things are getting more and more troublesome. Du Xiaofu's face was gloomy as he looked at the group of demon race people opposite him. His heart was heavy to the extreme. Just one demon general brought unimaginable pressure to them, but now there were actually three great demon generals. Du Xiaofu felt like he was about to have difficulty breathing. These were three Dao-carrying realm powerhouses. They had been suppressed in the 18 layers of hell for countless years, but their ferocious power was probably not much worse than it was in the past. Coupled with Dongli Qihuang, Qin Yan, and the millions of demon race army behind them, it was likely that these people of the 33 heavens would have to give up their lives here today. Jie. Du Xiaofu, you actually dared to enter the 18 layers of hell. You are simply courting death. Dongli Qihuang looked at Du Xiaofu, stepped forward, and coldly looked at Du Xiaofu. His handsome face was covered with demon qi, and with a cold smile, it was as if he was staring at a dead man. Du Xiaofu, you really don't want to take the road to heaven, but instead choose to throw yourself into hell. This time, I want to see what kind of good luck you have to escape with your life. My demon race's three great demon generals and millions of troops are here. We will definitely turn you audacious people into ashes. None of you will be able to walk out of the 18 layers of hell. Qin Yan's face was full of hatred as he looked at Du Xiaofu and said. He was extremely confident. When he saw the many powerhouses of the 33 heavens, he also had some plans in his heart. There was a clear disparity in the strength of the two sides. The demon race had a huge advantage, and their biggest reliance was the three great demon generals by his side. This gap was really too big. As long as there were no unforeseen events, it was absolutely not difficult to kill everyone in the 33 heavens here. Little bastard, weren't you chasing me quite fiercely? Come again, let's see how you kill this ancestor. As long as this ancestor doesn't die, the treasures on your side will eventually fall into my hands. At this time, the blood ancestor also recovered. After being saved by the desolate demon general, he was no longer threatened by Du Xiaofu. Instead, he looked at him with hatred. With the protection of the demon race, why would the blood ancestor need to fear Du Xiaofu and the others? You old bird, you can only hide in the demon race's crotch. I really don't know if the rumors passed down from ancient times are true or false. A useless person like you actually made a name for yourself. Du Xiaofu glanced at the blood ancestor and didn't seem to be moved at all. You. The blood ancestor was stifled by Du Xiaofu's words and almost wanted to stomp his feet. These words were too sinister, causing the blood ancestor's malevolent face to twist even more. His nostrils contracted as if he were about to go berserk. If it weren't for the fact that he wasn't necessarily a match for Du Xiaofu, he really would have rushed forward and torn his mouth open. However, looking at the furious blood ancestor, Du Xiaofu didn't have any intention of paying attention to him. At this time, the matter in front of him was the most urgent. He simply couldn't care less about the blood ancestor. Dongli Qihuang, Qin Yan, you two have always been defeated by me, but every time you appear, you clamor in front of me. How much foundation do you have? Don't you have any idea? Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows, a mocking expression on his face as he looked at Dongli Qihuang and Qin Yan. He wasn't trying to anger these two, but was secretly communicating with the powerhouses of the 33 heavens to discuss countermeasures. At the same time, he planned to bring everyone into the ancient desolate space and then find a way to escape. Jajage! Du Xiaofu, you don't need to provoke us. As long as we can kill you, it doesn't matter what method we use. This time, you absolutely have no path to heaven and no door to hell. Chen Yen coldly smiled as he looked at Du Xiaofu. He really wasn't angry in the slightest. This time, the demon race had so many powerhouses that they could definitely crush the millions of people in the 33 heavens. No one would be able to save Du Xiaofu. Humph, Du Xiaofu, don't be so arrogant. With your strength, I'm afraid you are no longer a match for the two of us. Since you think you are strong, we will give you a chance to fight. I'm afraid that when the time comes, your fate will be very miserable." Dongli Qihuang coldly snorted as he spoke with confidence. His strength had greatly increased, his memories had completely awakened, and his ancient strength was gradually recovering. He was already very powerful and no longer feared Du Xiaofu. "Du Xiaofu, stop dawdling and attack. Today, none of you will be able to leave this floor alive. All of you will die here." Chapter 29-25. Du Xiaofu, stop wasting time and attack. None of you will be able to leave this floor alive today. All of you will die here. Dongli Qihuang glared at Du Xiaofu, and his eyes were filled with hatred. He shouted explosively, and then his figure instantly soared into the sky and pounced towards Du Xiaofu. The devil race had a huge advantage, and they were far stronger than the forces of the 33 heavens. So, there was no need for words at all, and they could just start the battle. There was no time to lose because an unforeseen event would occur if they delayed. First, eliminate all the meditators in the 33 heavens, and then assist the army in the battle. Leave Du Xiaofu to the two of us. Let's see what he can do. This time, I'll make sure these millions of people don't leave. Once they die, the 33 heavens will lose more than half of their forces. How will they fight my devil race then? Chen Yan's gaze was piercingly cold as he spoke to the Blood God Devil, Mingluo Devil, and Desolation Devil by his side. After that, he charged out as well, and he charged towards Du Xiaofu with Dongli Qihuang. Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan attacked with all their strength. They'd been in the 18 levels of hell for many years, and they'd recovered quite a bit of their strength since a long time ago. Their strength was almost equivalent to the 3rd level of Meditator realm, so they couldn't be said to be weak. So, both of them felt that no matter how strong Du Xiaofu was now, it was impossible for him to reach their level of strength. However, for safety's sake, both of them decided to join forces. No matter what, they had to deal with Du Xiaofu first. Eliminate the invaders of the 33 heavens and make them pay the price. Kill them all and strengthen the might of our devil race. Kill! Along with Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan's actions, all the other devils moved at the same time. A large expanse of black shadows pressed down upon space and covered the heavens and the earth as they charged towards the millions of people in the 33 heavens. All of a sudden, the entire 12th layer of hell began to tremble. Boundless demonic energy intertwined together, forming a large black cloud that swept across the heavens and earth. This scene was truly terrifying. Amidst the majestic momentum, a murderous and cruel aura filled the air. It was even more terrifying than when the powerhouses of the 33 heavens had first entered. All the other demons in this space felt their blood boiling. They shot out and charged towards Du Xiaofu and the others. "Keek, with my demon army here, these creatures of the 33 heavens will die without a burial ground. How dare you act so presumptuously in my 18 levels of hell? You're too arrogant. Kill them all. Let the blood of these creatures flow through the 18 layers of hell." The experts of the demon clan who were originally in the 12th layer of hell also stirred up a storm, their momentum ferocious. At the same time, many people rushed out with unconcealable ferocious smiles on their faces. For these people, there was no time that they felt more satisfied than at this moment. Previously, they were in a situation where they were at the mercy of others. Who would have thought that in such a short period of time, the situation would be reversed so quickly? The original hunters had become the prey. For these demons, this was the most exciting thing. "We're surrounded." Beside Du Xiaofu, an expert said with a serious face. Looking at the actions of the demons in all directions, the others felt as if they were carrying a mountain on their backs. They were not afraid of a battle. However, when the strength of the enemy was far greater than the millions of people of the 33 heavens, fighting force with force would only cause unnecessary sacrifices. It would not be of any use. Even if they were to die, they could not die here in vain. "Yuqing Divine Emperor, do we fight or leave?" Another expert stepped forward and asked anxiously. In the 18 layers of hell, everything was according to Du Xiaofu's words. Now, there was no better choice. They had suddenly fallen into a tight encirclement. It seemed that they could only face a battle. With the 3 great demon generals present, even if they wanted to escape, it would be difficult to do so. Now, they could only wait and see if Du Xiaofu had any way to lead them away. In short, it was not realistic to fight unless they were forced into a desperate situation. Those in the meditative realm, stay behind and join forces to break through the defensive line. Everyone else, enter the desolate ancient space and withdraw from the 18 layers of hell. While everyone was anxious, Du Xiaofu had already made a decision. He quickly shouted these words and then opened the desolate ancient space. A huge entrance appeared in the void, allowing the experts of the 33 heavens to enter. Hurry! Lu Jingyun shouted loudly as well, and he gathered together with all the meditative realm experts to protect Du Xiaofu and obstruct the attacks of Qin Yan and the Eastern Flame Crimson Phoenix. How could the people of the 33 heavens dare delay? They all entered in an instant, wave after wave of people entering the desolate ancient space. Du Xiaofu, are you thinking of running away? Running away without fighting isn't your style. Right at this moment, Dong Liqiwang's attack had arrived. A devil's sword had appeared in his hand, and it emanated a solemn and murderous glow as it attacked ferociously towards Lu Jingyun and the others. This attack was extremely terrifying. It seemed as if it had come from the depths of the netherworld, and it was capable of punishing the heavens and destroying the earth. It seemed as if it intended to make the sun and moon sink while the mountains and rivers were obliterated. However, Lu Jingyun and the others were prepared. The auras of over 100 meditative realm experts were intertwined together to form a solid barrier of light that emanated dazzling light. When Dong Liqiwang's attack struck the barrier of light, an enormous rumble resounded, but it was unable to shake it at all. It's useless to hide within it. All of you will definitely be unable to escape death today. Chen Yan shouted coldly as well. His figure grew explosively as he moved forward, and he was no less than 30 kilometers tall. After his figure enlarged, Chen Yan's appearance underwent a tremendous change as well. He became hideous, ferocious, and had ghastly fangs. However, the aura he emanated expanded swiftly along with these changes, and it was boundlessly powerful and terrifying. His palm soared through the sky and suddenly slapped down towards Du Xiaofu and the others. At this moment, Lu Jingyun and the others only wanted to defend themselves, and they didn't attack at all and allowed Qin Yan's palm strike to strike them. Rumble! A monstrous and enormous bang resounded while the sky shattered into pieces and the world shook. These two fellows want to break through our defenses? They're simply overestimating their ability. A powerhouse of the 33 heavens sneered and muttered to himself. Chen Yan's attack wasn't able to cause much of an impact to them. Under the joint forces of over 100 experts, their defensive barrier of light merely shook slightly and wasn't really shaken at all. You can't change your fate even if you can hide for a while. Why make such useless efforts? Dong Liqiwang and Qin Yan grunted coldly, and their gazes grew even colder as they watched their attacks fail to accomplish anything. They're just a bunch of useless trash. Let this general deal with them. Right at this moment, the 3 devil generals strode through the sky step by step and seemed to be extremely leisurely. The Desolation Fiend Demon General uttered in a muffled voice. After that, the blood-red axe in his hand suddenly rose into the sky and emanated a scarlet-red light that dyed everything in the surroundings red. Every single corner of the 12th level of hell was enveloped by this blood-red light. Even the ground was seeping with blood-red liquid, and it was a horrifying sight. You can't resist the attack of a Tao-enlightened expert. Retreat. Meanwhile, the few million experts of the 33 heavens had all entered Du Xiaofu's desolate dimension. He immediately shouted and retreated with Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, Lu Cheng, Long Ke, Long Su, and over 100 experts of the 33 heavens. They intended to flee. As they moved forward, Du Xiaofu didn't hesitate and directly released the Void 8 trigrams technique. Lu Jingyun and the others didn't need to be reminded. They each went to the 8 directions of the 8 trigrams diagram and formed a new formation with Du Xiaofu. They were already familiar with this method and completed it in an instant. Powerful energy poured into Du Xiaofu's body. Let's go! Du Xiaofu stomped his feet and shattered the void, causing 2 huge chaotic black holes to appear. His figure shot out 1,000,000 miles in the blink of an eye. He used all his strength and didn't dare to stay in the slightest under the attack of a devil general. The Immortal Realm experts had all gone into hiding. As long as he and the others could successfully retreat, the 33 Heavens combat strength would still be preserved. However, there was no doubt that this process was extremely difficult. Du Xiaofu had almost no confidence that he could escape unscathed from the 3 devil generals. Sure enough, just as Du Xiaofu was retreating, the desolate fiend devil general let out a cold snort. It was like a heavy hammer that struck Du Xiaofu's heart, causing him to feel incomparably annoyed. Want to escape? Do you think you can escape? As soon as the desolate fiend devil general's voice fell, the blood fiend axe chopped down at the same time, brazenly striking the void. Rumble! This attack was overbearing, as if it was breaking open the great world. It was incomparably terrifying. On the other hand, Du Xiaofu and the others who were fleeing with all their might felt a terrifying binding force descend upon them, and it tightly restrained their footsteps. Their speed plummeted, and it was as if they had fallen into a quagmire, making it difficult for them to struggle. Chi-La! Following that, the giant axe fell and directly chopped down on Du Xiaofu's 8 trigrams diagram. The awe-inspiring void 8 trigrams disintegrated in an instant. All of its energy was destroyed. Du Xiaofu was the first to bear the brunt of it. He directly spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face instantly dimmed. Lu Jingyun and more than 100 meditative forgetfulness experts were also in a very bad situation. They were all injured one after another. Everyone was like withered leaves in a storm, swept high into the sky and wantonly trampled on and destroyed. Fortunately, the desolate fiend devil general seemed to look down on them. He only treated Du Xiaofu and the others as ants and did not use his full strength. Otherwise, the attack just now would have taken the lives of half of the people here. I've been trapped in the 18 levels of hell for countless years. I seem to have forgotten the taste of slaughter. Today I'll savor it here. It'll be of great benefit to my injuries. The desolate fiend devil general's eyes bloomed as he spoke softly. As he spoke, he suddenly stretched out a hand and gently grabbed at the void. Chi-chi-chi, the sound of cloth tearing could be heard. Then, Du Xiaofu and the others saw a terrifying scene. The desolate ancient space. The heavily injured Du Xiaofu had long lost the strength to struggle and crashed heavily to the ground. At this time, the desolate fiend devil general attacked again. He saw his desolate ancient space being torn apart like a cloth bag. Among them, millions of immortal experts were all shocked. For a moment, they did not understand what was going on. Within the torn ancient space, large amounts of space laws and time laws runes surged out, exploding like dazzling fireworks and burning away in the void. The Tao Carrier realm is too strong. The desolate ancient space refined by Grandmaster can't hide at all in front of him. It's even easier to break it. This time, it's really troublesome. Lu Jingyun's expression had changed long ago. He was incomparably furious. At the same time, he was filled with endless helplessness in his heart. Du Xiaofu's desolate ancient space was created by his Grandmaster, the most holy great emperor. It was a rare treasure. But in the eyes of a Tao Carrier realm expert, such a treasure was no different from a child's toy. With a casual strike of his hand, he easily broke through it. The desolate ancient space was clearly an invisible existence, but in the hands of the desolate fiend devil general, it was like a real substance. After tearing it apart, he grabbed a corner and shook it lightly like holding a rag bag. Huff huff huff. Within the ancient desolate space, the millions of powerhouses of the 33 heavens suddenly felt the world spin around them. Then, all of them fell out like beans from a broken hole in space. Those figures were completely unable to control themselves and slid down from the sky, falling to the ground. Kikik, you can hide now, but you can't hide forever. Everyone in the 33 heavens will die today. Seeing the desolate fiend devil general attack, Dongli Chihuang and Qin Yan couldn't help but sneer. Today, let's start a massacre here. Children of the devil race, fight with me. Let the blood of the 33 heavens flow through every inch of the 18 layers of hell. In addition to the desolate fiend devil general, the blood god devil general and Ming Luo devil general also moved quickly. They led many devil race powerhouses and quickly charged in the direction of Du Xiaofu and the others. We can't escape. In the distance, Du Xiaofu was heavily injured. His entire body was practically on the ground. After a long struggle, he crawled up. Light flashed in his hand, and the purple-gold heavenly tower appeared. He used it as a crutch. The desolate fiend devil general's attack just now caused his blood to roil endlessly. The energy in his body was in chaos, about to explode. In addition, the desolate ancient space was broken open, imperceptibly implicating him, adding injuries on top of injuries. Now, seeing the devil race army charging over again, Du Xiaofu frowned. For a time, he didn't know what to do. Yu Qing Divine Emperor, let's fight. If we can't escape, then let's really fight the devil race. Even if we die, we have to drag a few down with us. Many powerhouses of the 33 heavens spoke out one by one. Everyone's fighting spirit was boiling. Everyone's eyes fell on Du Xiaofu, wanting to fight. Listening to the words of those around him, Du Xiaofu felt even more powerless. The disparity in strength between the two sides caused them to lose the qualifications to truly fight the devil race. Even if they sacrificed everyone's lives, they would still be trampled on by the other side. Not a single one of them would be able to escape from the 18 levels of hell, but the result was more or less the same. Before entering the 18 levels of hell, senior apprentice brother Lu Xiaoyu had instructed them to prioritize their own lives. Because these several million people were already the majority of the 33 heavens' fighting strength. If they all died here, then when they faced the devil race's attack in the future, the situation would be one-sided. No one wanted to see such a result. However, what made Du Xiaofu feel the most powerless was that they really had no way to escape. In such a situation, besides fighting, there seemed to be no other path to take. If that's the case, then let's fight to our heart's content. No matter how strong the devil race is, we won't let them have an easy time. Gradually, a determined look appeared in Du Xiaofu's eyes, and he no longer hesitated. He straightened his body with difficulty, grabbed a large amount of precious medicine from his Qingkuan bag, stuffed it into his mouth, and chewed. Dongli Chihuang, Qin Yan, come and fight. After swallowing all the precious medicine in one gulp, Du Xiaofu suddenly roared, and his voice reverberated through the 9 heavens. He raised the purple-gold heavenly tower, pointed it at Dongli Chihuang and Qin Yan, and quickly fought with them. Kill! The powerhouses of the 33 heavens immediately moved, and one figure after another shot out, rushing towards the devil race's formation. At this moment, everyone's faces were filled with an expression as if they were facing death calmly. The two sides collided in just a moment, and a fierce battle unfolded. Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, Lu Cheng, Long Ke, Long Su, and the rest of the 33 heavens-seated forgetfulness experts also rushed out at the same time to meet the 3 demon generals who were charging straight at them. Everyone's auras intertwined together. They didn't hope to defeat the 3 devil generals, but they could at least hold on for a while. Kill! Earth-shaking roars spread in this space, and the world shook, the universe turned upside down, and the void was annihilated. The millions of people of the 33 heavens and the millions of devil race people collided with each other. This was the condensation of most of the power of Pangu world and the 18 layers of hell, and its killing power shook the world, and it really had the power to destroy the world. As for the powerhouses of the 33 heavens, everyone used all their strength to fight the devil race. They staked everything and only wanted to kill a few more devil race people, so that they wouldn't die here in vain. Everyone's blood was aroused, and they fought with all their might. Everyone was full of heroism, and all the strength in their bodies surged out, and they fought with anger. GGG. Kill. Once these people die, attacking the 33 heavens will be as easy as taking something out of a pocket. Dongli Chihuang, Qin Yan, and the others laughed, and they were incomparably happy. They were very clear in their hearts that the biggest advantage on their side was that they had 3 more devil generals. With such a gap, it would be absolutely easy to take down these powerhouses of the 33 heavens. And after all these people who had entered the 18 layers of hell were all killed, the resistance they would encounter when attacking the 33 heavens would be reduced by more than half. This was a great thing for the devil race. Chapter 29-26. Translator. H2H2 Mr. Many devil experts sneered in their hearts. All of this was something they hadn't expected. The 33 heavens actually dared to directly charge into the 18 levels of hell without sufficient arrangements. They were simply delivering themselves up to be killed. It was precisely because of this that the devils didn't hold back in the slightest when they attacked. Especially the 3 devil generals, they directly pounced towards Lu Jingyun and the others. Under the deterrence of these experts, the meditative realm experts didn't even have the strength to resist. They'd all walked their own paths, and their strength was far stronger than the meditative realm experts. In the eyes of these 3 devil generals, Lu Jingyun and the others were indeed as weak as ants. Besides that, Du Xiaofu also faced enormous pressure. Because of the desolate fiend devil general's attack, coupled with the destruction of the ancient desolate space, he'd long since been heavily injured, and his strength had been reduced to less than 100%. Facing the attacks of Dongli Chihuang and Qin Yan, Du Xiaofu was barely able to maintain dodging, and he was unable to face them head-on. For a time, all the experts of the 33 heavens fell into a desperate situation, and everyone was facing a test of life and death. Rumble. A terrifying battle unfolded, and the entire 12th level of hell emitted a terrifying tremor. The scarlet sky was exploding, the boundless earth was collapsing, and the boundless void was shattering. Practically everywhere in this level of hell had transformed into a state of chaos, and the scene was incomparably terrifying. All the living beings were in a chaotic battle, and they were doing their best to fight the devils. Even if we die, we'll take a few down with us. We can't let the devils run rampant. Every time we kill a devil, our sacrifice today will be worth it. Fight the devils to the death. All the experts of the 33 heavens had aroused all their blood, and they roared ferociously, spilling their hearts full of hot blood as they fought the devils. At this instant, everyone no longer thought about how to leave the 18 levels of hell because it had already become an impossible matter. Instead of being at a loss, it was better to fight the devils to the death. Even if they had to risk their lives, they had to slaughter a few more devils so that when the devils invaded the 33 heavens in the future, the pressure on countless living beings would lessen by a bit. In other words, everyone was prepared to die. No one wanted to leave the 18 levels of hell alive. No matter how much you struggle, it's meaningless. Everything you've done is in vain. Tremble, ants. Use your blood to stain the land of my demon race. With the aid of such slaughter, my demon race will grow even stronger. At that time, the other life forms of the 33 heavens will accompany you on the road to the Yellow Springs. The people of the Devil Clan also shouted out one by one. They were extremely excited. Now that they had the absolute upper hand, they were simply bursting with excitement. In the endless slaughter, the strength of the devil race would definitely grow stronger and stronger. For a time, in the entire 12th level of hell, the powerhouses of the 33 heavens and the demons had different mindsets as they engaged in fierce battles. However, all of them had the same thought, and that was that the outcome had already been decided. No matter how hard they tried, they would be unable to change the final outcome. And in this process, the only thing they could do was to maximize the results of the battle. However, just when everyone was certain that everything would develop according to the established trajectory and no more major accidents would occur, a monstrous pressure suddenly pervaded the air and descended abruptly, and all the experts in the battle felt it. Rumble. This sudden terrifying pressure was like the suppression of the heavens. In just an instant, It caused the souls of those who were not very strong to tremble. There's a change. In an instant, Du Xiaofu, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Long Ke, Long Su, Little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, Chu Daoju, Long San, Ling Feng and the rest all felt the situation. In the first moment, they realized that something had definitely happened. What happened? On the side of the devil clan, the 3 great devil generals, the 2 great devil attendants, and many forgotten experts were also extremely puzzled. This situation did not seem right, and it was completely out of their expectations. Normally speaking, more than half of the devil clan of the 18 levels of hell had already gathered here, and no other experts should have come. A large number of living beings have arrived. Among them, there are a few who are extremely powerful. Just as everyone was confused, the blood god demon general suddenly spoke. He looked into the distance and said, "Don't worry." On the other hand, his words caused Dongli Chihuang, Chen Yan, and the others to be shocked. A large number of living beings had arrived, but this was nothing. Perhaps the 33 heavens still had a backup plan, and another wave of experts had arrived at the 18 levels of hell. However, the blood god demon general had said that some of those people were very strong. What was an extremely powerful concept in the eyes of a Dao carrier realm cultivator was absolutely terrifying to Eastern Li, Qi Huang, and the others. Could it be that those people were in the Dao carrier realm? If that was the case, then the following situation would undergo a huge change. Let them come. Before they arrive, let's deal with these ants in the Forgotten Realm first. The Ming Luo demon general snorted coldly and suddenly attacked. A terrifying wave of devil qi shot directly towards Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Lu Ying, Long Ke, Long Su, and the others. Within the devil qi, there was a strange energy of the Grand Tao circulating and boiling, and the laws in this space were directly stirred into mush. This was the strength of a Dao carrier realm expert. Under the surging power, Lu Jingyun and the other Forgotten Realm experts were all restrained on the spot, and they were completely unable to move. They could only watch as the terrifying devil qi surged towards them. The Ming Luo demon general had attacked with all his strength, and he did not want to waste any more time. If they waited for those experts to arrive, then there would be endless variables at that time. Taking advantage of the time before they arrived, even killing one of the experts of the 33 heavens would be good. Do you think you can touch this old man's grand disciple? At this moment, a cold snort shook heaven and earth, and the sound waves were like muffled thunder, roaring and rolling, and sweeping in all directions. Accompanying it was a huge and boundless swastika symbol with dazzling golden light. It directly pressed down like a round of world-destroying divine seal, and a wild and desolate aura surged, as vast as the abyss, and brazenly collided with the devil qi attack of the Ming Luo demon general. Boom! A monstrous earthquake occurred, and the entire world was tossed and turned, and all matter was sent flying. Countless waves of chaotic qi were generated, and swept through the heavens and the earth. The Ming Luo demon general who was closest to Lu Jingyun and the rest retreated in the midst of this terrifying shock, and he did not dare to hesitate in the slightest. Lu Jingyun and the other experts were pulled away by an invisible hand and brought to a safe place. The demons and people of the 33 heavens who were fighting in other places were also lifted high into the sky by this force and could not control themselves. Strong reinforcements have arrived. Du Xiaofu, Dongli Chihuang, and Xin Yan could no longer continue fighting, and in an instant, he knew that there must be experts who had killed their way into the 18 levels of hell to help them. Sure enough, right when Du Xiaofu was lost in thought, an expanse of shouts that shook the heavens and the earth suddenly sounded out from afar. Kill! The battle cry was earth-shattering, and it sounded like there were a lot of people, and the momentum was majestic and boundless. Soon, a large number of figures could be seen rushing over from afar. They quickly rushed into the chaotic battlefield. The chaotic world of the 3,000 sectors is here to help the 33 heavens destroy the devil race. The chaotic world of the 3,000 sectors is here to help the 33 heavens destroy the devil race. The chaotic world of the 3,000 sectors is here to help the 33 heavens destroy the devil race. The flying spirit sect of the 3,000 sectors is here to help the 33 heavens destroy the devil race. With the arrival of a large number of figures, the shouts also sounded. This person's momentum was like a rainbow, and he killed his way into the battlefield with absolute strength. There were also millions of people. Such a scene stunned the experts of the devil race and the 33 heavens in this level of space. The battle could not continue for the time being, and the two sides gathered, once again forming two camps, and stood facing each other, looking at the black mass of people who were killing. Martial ancestor. After Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Lu Ying, Lu Cheng, and the others were rescued, they saw a domineering figure standing beside them, and their faces were filled with surprise, and they bowed down one after another. Beside them was a thin middle-aged man, but his entire face was filled with boundless majesty, as if he was a god who ruled over the heavens. He had the bearing of being above all living things, making people want to bow down and worship him. Seeing Lu Jingyun and the others bow, the thin middle-aged man nodded slightly, and then looked in the direction of the devil race. For you. Ming Luo Demon General's eyes narrowed fiercely, and he looked at the person opposite him and asked. As soon as the thin middle-aged man appeared, he saved Lu Jingyun and the others with absolute strength, and even forced him to retreat. This person's cultivation was absolutely monstrous. However, people with such strength usually only appeared in ancient times, and as a demon general who was famous for his fierce reputation, he had never seen him before, so he could not help but be puzzled. Remember my name, 8 Desolation Saint Sovereign, D. Badian. The thin middle-aged man said softly. His eyes were like lightning, and he looked at Ming Luo Demon General without the slightest fear. And me, Donghuang Taixin. In an instant, another majestic figure appeared out of thin air, and appeared next to 8 Desolation Saint Sovereign, Hibain. In this person's hand was a golden saber. The saber was filled with ferocious power, like a divine object that could split the heavens and earth, and it made people feel reverence. Di Batin, Donghuang Taixin. They are people from the 3,000 great worlds. Blood God Demon General stepped forward and said coldly, scarlet blood dripping from his body to the ground. His body, which looked like it had been skinned, made people's scalps tingle. They had never seen these two people who had suddenly appeared in ancient times, so it was not difficult to imagine their origins. The 3,000 great worlds were far behind Pangu world and the demon world, and the demon generals had heard about them from Dongli Chihuang and Chen Yan, so they naturally knew of their existence. Obviously, Di Bat Ian and Donghuang Dongxian were extremely terrifying existences. You're only half-step Dao realm cultivators. If it were in ancient times, the two of you wouldn't be a match for me even if you attacked together. Desolation Demon General stepped forward and said coldly as he looked at the two opposite him. He could see the cultivation of the two experts with a single glance, and he did not seem to be intimidated by them at all. Upon hearing those words, the experts from the 33 heavens and the devil race were stunned once again. Only now did they know that these two people were half-step Dao realm cultivators, and they were indeed extremely powerful. However, such strength seemed to be insufficient in front of the 3 demon generals. You also know that it was in ancient times. Now that you've been suppressed for countless years and only managed to break out of the seal, your strength has been greatly reduced. How can you look down on us? Di Banin was unmoved by Desolation Demon General's contempt, and he only snorted coldly and said. His entire body exuded a boundless aura as he looked at the 3 demon generals, not backing down at all. Di Batin naturally knew that if it were in ancient times, the 3 demon generals would indeed be invincible existences to him. However, it was different now. These people had experienced the chaos of ancient times, and their strength had been greatly affected. Then, they were suppressed by Pangu and sealed in the 18 levels of hell together with the demon ancestors' primordial spirit. Countless years had passed, and their strength was no longer the same as before. If they really fought, Di Batian was extremely confident that he could defeat them. What an arrogant bastard! You even dare to provoke us! In that case, let's see who will have the last laugh. The Blood God Demon General's eyes darkened, and he was extremely angry at Di Batian's contempt. Their fierce reputation was built on endless killing. When had they ever been looked down upon? It was completely intolerable. Then let's have a try. Dong Huang Taishuan's eyes flashed as he said coldly. Like Di Ben, he was completely unmoved by the three demon generals. Seniors, are you confident? At this time, Du Xiaofu had already come to Di Batian and Dong Huang Taishuan's side and asked worriedly. From the way Lu Jingyun addressed Di Batian, Du Xiaofu could easily tell that the Octaterra Saint Venerable was one of Lu Xiaoyou's teachers. Lu Jingyun had already told him a lot of information through voice transmission. Within the 3,000 vast worlds, there were the three most powerful worlds: the chaotic heavens world, the chaotic lands world, and the chaotic people world. Perhaps, on the whole, the 3,000 vast worlds were not as prosperous as the 33 heavens. However, just by looking at the three chaotic worlds, their prosperity exceeded that of any of the 33 heavens. As for Di Batian, he was the original ruler of the chaotic heavens world, and his cultivation was extremely high. Because of this, there was no doubt about his strength. He was definitely not much weaker than Di Batian. The other expert, Dong Huang Taishin, was almost on the same level as Di Batian. Both of them were rare experts in the world. However, from the conversation just now, Di Batian and Dong Huang Taishin were only at the half-step path realm. They were probably still far away from the real path realm. In this way, if the two of them wanted to deal with the three demon generals, it would seem that they were not strong enough. The only advantage they had was that the three demon generals had experienced the ancient war and been sealed for countless years. Their strength had been greatly reduced. Ha! Little guy, you must be the legendary Du Xiaofu. Dong Huang Taishin suddenly laughed and looked at Du Xiaofu as he spoke. Obviously, he had heard about Du Xiaofu and had a certain understanding of him. Yes, I am. Du Xiaofu nodded and did not explain further. He still stared at the two experts. Seeing Du Xiaofu's gaze, Di Batian laughed and said, "Don't worry. Although the two of us are not as strong as the three demon generals, in terms of strength, we are definitely not weaker than the three of them. Not to say that we can crush them, but if we want to fight 2 against 3, we will definitely not be at a disadvantage." At the end of his words, Di Batian's body surged with a ferocious aura. He suddenly stared at the 3 demon generals in front of him, his bright eyes filled with contempt. As for the 3 demon generals, they had no idea where Di Batian's confidence came from. "Why are you still talking so much? Let's fight. Let's see what the two of you are capable of." Ming Luo Demon General did not want to wait any longer. He shouted in a deep voice. His body stepped out in the air, carrying with it a terrifying power of the Great Tao. The surrounding rules of order were directly crushed into nothingness. The people of the 3,000 great worlds can't change the outcome. Since you're here, then stay here with the people of the 33 heavens. Blood God Demon General's words were deep. His entire body was filled with killing intent. He instantly rushed out and faced Di Batian and Dong Huang Taishin head-on. "Let's fight. This time, with such strong reinforcements, the 33 heavens will not be afraid of the demon race." Lu Jingyun shouted. He also wanted to rush into the sky and continue fighting the demon race. However, his movement was stopped by Di Batian. Di Batian said, "Jingyun, lead the injured people of the 33 heavens to recuperate first. Leave this place to us. After your injuries have stabilized, we will continue to push deeper into the 18 levels of hell. These demon race will definitely not be able to stop our advance." Di Batian's body was filled with a powerful and domineering aura that swept through the heavens and earth. Following his instructions, Lu Jingyun nodded and retreated. Many of the experts of the 33 heavens were injured, especially those in the meditative realm. I also have an independent space here with the effect of time acceleration. Everyone, enter it to recuperate. Soon, you will be able to come out and fight. Lu Jingyun waved his hand and opened a space treasure. Du Xiaofu was slightly stunned when he saw this, but he quickly understood. It was not difficult to understand why Lu Jingyun could have such an independent space. With his cultivation and background, It was very easy for him to obtain such a thing. Right now, his ancient desolate space was damaged and could no longer be used. Therefore, Du Xiaofu did not hesitate and rushed into the space opened by Lu Jingyun. Let's go! Under the lead of the meditative realm experts, the injured experts of the 33 heavens rushed into the space one after another. Chapter 29-27. Along with many members of the 33 heavens entering Lu Jingyun's space to recuperate, the battle between the 3,000 worlds and the devil race had finally begun. However, the 33 heavens possessed a few million experts after all, and most of them still retained their combat strength. At this moment, when they joined forces with the 3,000 worlds, they actually firmly occupied the upper hand. There were actually many experts at the meditative realm amongst the experts of the 3,000 worlds that Di Batian and Donghuang Taishan brought over, and they directly and fiercely suppressed the peerless combat strength of the devil race, including Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan. Under such circumstances, even though the situation hadn't become one-sided, the devil race was practically in a passive state. Such a scene caused Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan to be both furious and hateful. The experts of the 3,000 worlds actually arrived at such a critical moment. Looks like they were prepared since a long time ago. Dongli Qihuang couldn't help but think like this as he fought an expert. He gritted his teeth tightly as he stared at the direction that Du Xiaofu had vanished towards, and boundless resentment arose in his heart. If he knew that he would face such a situation, he would have asked the 3 devil generals to make a move at the first possible moment to directly suppress Du Xiaofu and eliminate this enormous calamity first. The 33 heavens and the 3,000 worlds have merged together, so we're utterly unable to stop them unless we mobilize the strength of the 18 levels of hell. On the other side, Chen Yan's heart was extremely heavy as well. The energy of his soul core spied out, and he sensed that the few million experts of the 3,000 worlds were moving through the sky, and every single one of them possessed ferocious combat strength. On the other side, Di Batian and Donghuang Taishan were in battle with the 3 devil generals at this moment. Di Batian's hands flipped incessantly while numerous profound seals were formed by him, and they transformed into 9 flickering golden characters that resided in space. After that, these 9 characters suddenly merged into one and formed the shape of the swastika. It revolved like a wheel of destruction, and it swept through the surroundings and crushed everything. The golden saber in Donghuang Taishuan's hands swung repeatedly. It slashed the stars in the heavens above and the earth below. Everything it encountered was turned into nothingness. The strengths of these 2 people were extremely terrifying, and they really deserved to be at the half-step Dao undertaking realm. Moreover, in the eyes of Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan, they were even able to discern a different situation. After all, they'd experienced the ancient war and witnessed the attacks of numerous experts of the Dao attainment realm, so their own strengths were terrifying and monstrous. So, with a single glance, Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan noticed to their astonishment that Di Batian and Donghuang Taishuan's strengths weren't just at the half-step Dao enlightened realm. Their cultivation bases could be said to be only a step away from the Dao carrier realm. Their true combat strength was not much weaker than the 3 demon generals at their peak, not to mention that the 3 demon generals were currently heavily injured. As a result, the disparity between the 2 sides grew even greater. Not only were the demon race powerhouses unable to resist the combined forces of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds, but even the 3 demon generals had fallen into an absolute disadvantage. If the situation continued to develop like this, the demon race's side would eventually be defeated if the battle continued to drag on. Humph! If it weren't for the existence of the demon ancestor, how could the demon race fight against the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds with your current strength? Di Batian struck out a divine seal, brazenly pressing down on desolate demon general's head, sending his body flying in a straight line, smashing the void into a chaotic mess. It looked as terrifying as a mountain range that had been smashed into pieces. The demon race must be killed. The 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds are joining forces for the first battle. If we can use you 3 demon generals as a sacrifice, it can't be better. Dong Huang Taishin was also domineering. As his long saber rose and fell, terrifying cracks appeared in the 12th layer of hell, as if he wanted to crush this side of the world. It was incomparably terrifying. Just as the two of them had said, the greatest threat to the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds was the demon ancestor. As for the others, although their overall strength wasn't weak, if they really wanted to fight against the powerhouses of the two great worlds, the gap in strength was still too great. If the demon ancestor didn't come out, or if the powerhouses of the 18 levels of hell didn't come out, the demon race before them could only face the fate of being trampled by them. As for the 3 demon generals, they were also in the ranks of being trampled, without exception. The 2 of you are indeed very strong, but it'll be difficult for you to defeat the 3 of us. The blood god demon general let out an earth-shattering roar that pierced through the soul. He fought with all his might, joining forces with Ming Luo demon general and desolate demon general to fight Di Batian and Donghuang Taishin to the death. The 3 demon generals gave their all, but they still couldn't turn the situation around. They were tightly suppressed by the 2 of them. However, they knew very well that although Di Batian and Donghuang Taishin were powerful, it would be difficult for them to truly kill the 3 of them. In the 12th layer of hell, close to 10 million living beings were engaged in a terrifying massacre. Terrifying power roared like a tsunami, and every inch of space was annihilated by the terrifying energy. It was as if thousands of mountains had collapsed, and boundless waves swallowed the heavens and the earth. All existences were shattered, and only figures were left behind in the boundless energy storm. They were like mosquitoes dancing in the sky, and the scene was inexplicably terrifying. At this moment, Du Xiaofu and the others who were in Lu Jingyun's space were recovering at full speed. Everyone took out the elixirs they had on them. At this moment, they didn't feel the slightest bit of heartache. They all stuffed them into their mouths and refined them with all their might. The most shocking thing about this space was that the power of time acceleration here was even more terrifying than Du Xiaofu's desolate ancient space. It was at least several times stronger. With such an environment, everyone naturally recovered incomparably quickly. However, everyone was also worried about the situation outside. One thing was for sure, and that was that it would be very difficult for them to attack in a short period of time. They could only rely on the powerhouses outside to resist. Under such circumstances, time passed slowly. In the 12th layer of hell, terrifying energy swept across the sky and ground, crushing everything in its path. Every area had turned into chaos, and the impact was extremely shocking. Di Batian and Donghuang Taishin displayed their full strength. Their terrifying combat strength poured out, and they suppressed the 3 demon generals to the point of repeatedly retreating. Just as the 3 demon generals had sensed, the 2 of them were indeed only a step away from the true Dao vessel realm. This wasn't empty talk, but the truth. What a powerful duo! The blood god demon general muttered. The flesh on his chest had suffered a blow from Di Batian's divine seal, and a black hole had been blasted out, causing his originally incomparably terrifying appearance to look even more terrifying. We can't continue fighting. If this continues, it'll be very disadvantageous for us. In the battle, Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan were also being attacked by a group of powerhouses. They were at a disadvantage, and they had no choice but to think so. Lord's request is for us to delay the people of the 33 heavens. We only need to delay their advance. Given Lord's speed, it won't be many years before he enters the 18th layer of hell and completely fuses with his nascent spirit. Once he emerges, the true decisive battle will begin. Chen Yan transmitted his voice to the Eastern mythical Scarlet Phoenix. When they learned that Du Xiaofu and the others had entered the 18th layer of hell, Jiang Chen had asked them to lead the demon race's experts to intercept them. However, he hadn't demanded that they stop the people of the 33 heavens with all their might. Perhaps Jiang Chen had long since guessed that the invaders had made ample preparations, so he told them not to kill Du Xiaofu by force. We'll retreat as we fight. Send more people into the next few layers of hell and gather more people to fight. Dongli Qihuang pondered for a moment, then made this decision. Now that the 33 heavens and the 3,000 universes were at their peak, the demons couldn't stop their fierce advance at all, let alone kill them all in the 12th layer of hell. Therefore, the best solution was for the demons to retreat as they fought and conserve their strength. At the same time, they'd send people deeper into the 18th layer of hell and gather more people. Only then would they truly be able to stall the outside world's experts. So long as they could delay them for a certain period of time and by time for Lord Demon Ancestor to fuse with his nascent spirit, they'd all die in the 18th layer of hell. That's a good idea. Chen Yen nodded, expressing his agreement with Dong Liqiuang's idea. If they continued to fight, the demons would lose a great deal of their manpower. Rather than make such pointless sacrifices, it was better to lure the people of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 universes deeper into the 18th layer of hell and fight again. Presumably, by the time they retreated to the 16th or 17th layer of hell, Jiang Chen would have fused with his nascent spirit. At that time, everything would truly begin. Dong Liqiuang and Qin Yan quickly retreated from the battlefield. Even though the experts of the 3,000 universes were hot on their heels, the two of them refused to fight. They shuttled back and forth between the battlefield. At the same time, their orders were secretly passed down. Some demons withdrew and headed deeper into the 18th layer of hell. The three demon generals received the transmission as well. Not long after, all the demons started to fight as they retreated. When they saw this scene, the eyes of Di Batian, Dong Huang Taishen, and the others flickered. I'm afraid the demons have made new arrangements. We have to be careful. Di Batian's eyes flickered as he spoke in a low voice. The unusual actions of the demons caused him to be cautious. After all, the 18th layer of hell was their territory, and they couldn't be careless. Since we're already here, let's kill our way in and take a look. No matter what scheme they have, we must fight to the end and wreak havoc in the 18th layer of hell. Dong Huang Taishen nodded and spoke. The 33 heavens had joined forces with the 3,000 universes. With so many experts moving, unless they encountered the demon ancestor, they wouldn't fear these demons at all. Perhaps the demons don't want to lose too much here. At the same time, they want to buy time for the demons to recover. Di Batian thought for a moment and quickly understood the intentions of the demons. Without further delay, he waved his arm and said, "Everyone, give chase with all your might. Bring along Jingyun and the others. We can't let the demons retreat so easily." As he spoke, he stretched out a hand and gently grabbed at the void as if he had grabbed a strange existence. This strange existence was the independent space that Lu Jingyun possessed. With this space, Di Batian and the millions of experts moved again, closely chasing after the demons. The demons wanted to fight as they retreated. The people of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 universes would use this opportunity to ruthlessly attack the demons. In an instant, a large number of figures streaked across the sky, traversing through the 12th layer of hell. All of them were heading in the same direction. They were all heading toward the entrance of the 13th layer of hell. Every layer of hell was like a large world in the 33 heavens. It was incomparably vast. Based on the speed of the experts, it would take them a long time to reach the entrance of the 13th layer of hell. In addition, because everyone was fighting as they moved, this time was greatly lengthened. At this time, in Lu Jingyun's space, a large number of figures were constantly recovering from their injuries. Du Xiaofu was the same. His entire body was wrapped in a dense and vigorous energy, looking incomparably mysterious. The strange and dazzling light sprinkled down like divine radiance. The four primordial laws of origin mixed with the power of the great Tao constantly intertwined and collided, creating new changes. Du Xiaofu had stepped into the void path realm for many years. His cultivation had also stepped into the second layer from the first layer at the beginning. Condensing the law to trace the path, transforming the law to develop the path, and carrying the path with the body. These three layers were all extraordinary, and they advanced layer by layer. There was a great difference between them and the ordinary immortal and meditative realms. Condensing the law to trace the path was to use the power of the four primordial laws to trace the origin of the laws and produce the rhythm of the path. Transforming the law to develop the path, the origin of the laws was perfect, and the rhythm of the path was natural. Tracing back to the origin of the great Tao was similar to the cultivation of the meditative realm. Carrying the path with the body was to break through the void path realm, break through the shackles of the great Tao, and achieve the body of carrying the path. At that time, it would be a brand new world that could truly create the great Tao. Du Xiaofu was now in the transforming the law to develop the path. As the name implied, this process was to rely on the rhythm of the four primordial laws to constantly refine the origin of the great Tao, coexisting and fusing with the world. When all of this was completed, Du Xiaofu could use the origin of the great Tao to freely evolve the four primordial laws. It would not be like before, where he needed to rely on the origin of the laws of the world or the origin of the laws that he cultivated himself. After reaching perfection in the transforming the path, he himself represented the supreme great Tao, and all the laws could be grasped at his fingertips. At that time, his power would be boundlessly terrifying. Huff, huff, huff. Du Xiaofu slightly closed his eyes, feeling the unparalleled power constantly flowing through his body. His entire person was immersed in a mysterious state. Time flew by quickly, and the scene around the purple-robed youth gradually changed even more. And such a change quickly alarmed many experts in this space. Senior Master Du, this is Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Long Ke, Long Su, and the rest of the meditative experts opened their eyes and looked in the direction of Du Xiaofu. Their eyes were somewhat stunned. They had suffered a blow from the desolate fiend devil general, but under the situation where Du Xiaofu had gathered the power of many experts, they had managed to preserve their lives. After such a long time of recovery, there was a certain improvement. In their shocked gazes, they could see that the current Du Xiaofu had the form of a world evolving around him, as though it was real. In this world, all matter existed. Space churned, time flowed, and life was born. It was extremely magical. Even if the meditative experts used their primordial spirits to spy on it, they felt that everything was extremely real, as though there was really a world condensed and formed by Du Xiaofu. However, Lu Jingyun and the rest knew in their hearts that this was absolutely impossible. With Du Xiaofu's cultivation, it was impossible for him to do this. The only ones who could truly create a real world were those in the imageless realm. Even the master of the 3,000 boundless worlds, Lu Xiaoyu, who was a carrier of the Tao, could not do it. What a terrifying comprehension ability and talent this fellow has. He actually reached such a level again. This is a scene evolved from the power of the great Tao. Although it cannot be compared to a real big world, it already has a certain embryonic form and charm. There is hope for the Tao, there is hope for the Tao. An old man in the third meditative realm from the 33 heavens muttered. His old eyes were wide open, and he could not help but tremble in excitement at the end of his sentence. Using the power of the four primordial laws to transcend the truth-severing stage and step into the void path, it turns out that it is so powerful. For us, although we stand at the top of all living creatures, we have no hope of attaining the Tao in our entire lives. This is where the difference lies. Following that, another old man let out a long sigh and said such words, causing many people in the surroundings to feel a little disappointed. Just as he said, everything that Du Xiaofu displayed outside his body was derived from the power of the great Tao. Everything in the world was originally carried by the great Tao. This situation was not difficult to achieve, and it was even less difficult for the many meditative realm experts present. However, the world that Du Xiaofu condensed contained everything that could be seen in the world. Time, space, matter, soul, everything that could be expected was there. Based on this point, many experts were unable to be compared to Du Xiaofu. None of them had grasped the four primordial laws at the same time, so the form of the world that they evolved was definitely lacking. It was precisely because of this that their pursuit of the Tao in their entire lives was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. It was a goal that was practically impossible to achieve. However, it was a different situation for Du Xiaofu. He possessed a cultivation in the void Tao, so if he wanted to truly take that step, then he only had to give it some time, and it would absolutely come naturally. Such a strong contrast made many of the people present sigh inexplicably. The gap between people was really too big. They had lived for countless years, yet they had to watch a junior who had only cultivated for a few thousand years easily surpass everyone. This was a distressing yet extremely honorable thing. Chapter 29-28. Martial Uncle Du's strength is going to increase greatly again. When he finishes his cultivation this time, I'm afraid his strength won't be lower than an ordinary third-stage meditative realm cultivator. Hearing the voices of the surrounding people, Long Fault's eyes stared at Du Xiaofu's body without moving, and said as such. However, such words did not arouse any reaction from the crowd, because this was already something that could be imagined. Killing his way into the 18 levels of hell is also quite a bit of training. In this process, Martial Uncle Du has already experienced a huge round of training. No matter if it was the battle with the Blood Ancestor, the attack from the desolate demonic general, or the tempering in the broken seals, I'm sure he has gained a lot of enlightenment. All these experiences have become the foundation for his enlightenment. I have a feeling that Martial Uncle Du will enter a higher realm after this trip to the 18 levels of hell. Lu Jingyun muttered softly, but his words were clearly heard by all the experts. The changes that Du Xiaofu experienced were not without foundation. The continuous battles in the 18 levels of hell, in addition to the super strong collisions he experienced, were all great rewards. Let's wait and see. I'm afraid that the Yu Qing Divine Emperor will come out of seclusion soon. Everyone, don't be idle. Go and recover. The battle outside still needs us. An expert from the 33 heavens said. The others nodded. Then, many of them retreated far away and began to recover. No one paid too much attention to Du Xiaofu. The battle outside still needed their help. The experts from the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds were still fighting. They could not afford to waste too much time. The space fell into silence again. Only a large amount of energy was boiling and dancing. Lu Jingyun did not immediately return to heal. Instead, he released the power of his primordial spirit and went outside to observe the situation. However, what surprised him was that the devil race was actually retreating. However, after careful observation, he realized that the demons were not being defeated. Instead, they were retreating while fighting. It was obvious that they had other plans. Lu Jingyun couldn't help but frown at this situation. Looks like the real war is coming. I wonder where Father and Uncle Xiaolong are right now. How are their arrangements going? Lu Jingyun keenly sensed that once the demons retreated to a certain place, a terrifying battle would ensue. At that time, everyone in the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds would face a great test. Many lives would perish in the 18 levels of hell. After all, this was the territory of the demon race. They absolutely could not underestimate the strength of the demon race. Lu Jingyun also thought of his father, Lu Xiaoyu, and his uncle Xiaolong, Dragon God Long Xian. The two of them had been planning this since many years ago. It was all for the sake of fighting the devil race and finally killing the devil ancestor. At this time, they must have made a lot of arrangements and laid down a lot of monstrous means. When the final battle of the 18 layers of hell began, the two of them would definitely appear and join up with the rest of them. Is the demonic ancestor really undying? Is there really no one in the world who can kill him? Lu Jingyun thought in his heart. Then he changed his mind. He cast his gaze on Du Xiaofu on the other side. He clearly knew that an important part of his father's plan was this Uncle Master Du, who was much, much younger than him. It could be said that if he wanted to kill the demonic ancestor, it had to be Uncle Master Du. I hope everything will go smoothly and we can successfully kill the demonic ancestor. Lu Jingyun muttered under his breath. Then he stopped thinking about it. Like everyone else, he gently closed his eyes and continued to adjust his breathing. Everyone was quietly healing their injuries. Among them, Du Xiaofu's body was emitting the biggest movement. The world outside his body was constantly rotating, releasing a strange power. Along with it, a peculiar aura descended. This aura was different from the aura of a powerhouse. Instead, it had the aura of nature. This charm was incomparably compatible with the Great Tao. It was close to nature. Du Xiaofu's Great Tao origin energy was emitting. Following this situation, it became more and more vigorous. Cultivating in the meditative realm was to pursue the Great Tao origin energy in order to achieve perfection. Only with such a foundation could one attack the Tao-bearing realm. If one wanted to break free from the shackles of the world, one had to first understand it and then find a way to break it. The greatest thing in the world was the Great Tao. The power of life was very weak in front of it. Wanting to break through the Tao-bearing realm with one's strength was no different from a fool's dream. Now, Du Xiaofu was walking on the path of condensing the Great Tao origin energy. Time passed rapidly in this space. Du Xiaofu also maintained this state. This was a space formed by many kinds of laws. Time was accelerated several hundred times. One day in the outside world was close to half a year here. It was much more ferocious than Du Xiaofu's original desolate ancient space. It was also because of this that while Du Xiaofu's aura was rapidly rising, the situation outside hadn't changed much. Under the leadership of Di Badian, Donghuang Taishen, and the others, the several million powerhouses of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds chased closely behind the demons, constantly attacking them. It was obvious that the demons were at an absolute disadvantage. They didn't dare to stop, otherwise they would have to face another huge slaughter. The final result would be the demons' defeat. However, Dongli Qihuang, Chen Yan, and the three demon generals didn't reveal the slightest bit of worry. Instead, they methodically commanded the countless demons to fight. In many cases, they separated from the powerhouses of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds upon contact, and then continued to flee. In this way, not only could they delay the footsteps of those outside, they could also ensure that the demons wouldn't suffer great losses. It seems that these demons really do want to stall for time. Di Batin exchanged a blow with the Blood God Demon General and then exchanged a few blows with him. Then he saw the Blood God Demon General retreat again. The demons' intentions were obvious. They wanted to slow them down, and their goal was to stall for time. They were likely buying time for the demon ancestor to recover. We're not in a hurry. That brat Xiaoyu must have thought of this. We only need to pursue with all our strength and not deliberately pursue the greatest victory. We didn't enter the 18 levels of hell to fight a decisive battle. Donghuang Taishin nodded and said to Di Badian. After they received Lu Xiaoyou's message, they entered the 18 levels of hell. The instructions they received were the same as the powerhouses of the 33 heavens. They didn't need to fight with their lives on the line. The most important thing was to preserve their strength. One could imagine that Lu Xiaoyu must have other arrangements. The true decisive battle still needed time to brew. Otherwise, if he and Xiaolong came here, why would they fear a few injured demon generals? And in the end, Lu Xiaoyu himself would definitely descend upon this place. Thus, Donghuang Taishin wasn't in a hurry. He would play with the demons for a while because when the critical moment arrived, some signs would inevitably appear. Who cares? Let's kill to our heart's content first. Didn't the demons want to fight while fleeing? This way, we'll be able to suppress them even more. One of the experts beside Di Badian spat out and said, "That's true. Although we don't have to deliberately pursue victory, it's absolutely good if we can kill a few more demons." Di Badian and Donghuang Taishin looked at each other and smiled. Then, they instantly sped up and chased after the demon army. They didn't just focus on attacking the three demon generals. Instead, they took advantage of the time when the demons retreated to kill a large number of other demon experts. Under the suppression of the two's terrifying strength, the demons weren't a match at all. Just a single attack was enough to crush a large number of them into nothingness. Damn it! This scene was quickly discovered by Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan. They couldn't help but curse. They only hated that they weren't strong enough and couldn't stop the two powerhouses. But when they saw all this, they really didn't have a good way to deal with it. Unless they let the three demon generals fight with all their strength and restrain Di Badian and Donghuang Taixin, they wouldn't be able to act wantonly. Otherwise, after a few levels of hell, there wouldn't be many left of the millions of demons. Those were half-step Dao realm experts. How could they be considered as killing someone? It was more like they were harvesting wheat. It's better to let the three demon generals work harder. When we go a few levels down and gather more people, we'll kill all these creatures. Chen Yan's eyes were gloomy, and he gnashed his teeth in hatred. The 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds were truly terrifying. If it weren't for the fact that they wanted to buy time for their lord to fuse with his soul, they would have retreated with all their strength and gathered more people to fight again. Let's just delay them for a while. If there's really no other way, we'll retreat first and let the three demon generals bring up the rear. We can't let them charge directly to the 17th level of hell. As long as they reach the 14th or 15th level, our powerhouses will rush over. At that time, it'll be the same to stop them. Dongli Qihuang thought for a moment and said, if they wanted to delay the people of the 33 heavens and 3,000 boundless worlds, perhaps they didn't have to fight on the 12th level of hell. If they went a few levels down, there would be plenty of opportunities to stop them. All right, let's do that. Chen Yan couldn't help but nod when he heard this. Then he issued an order to all the demons. Immediately after, the three demon generals moved with all their strength and restrained Di Badian and Donghuang Taixin. The other demons retreated with all their strength and headed toward the entrance of the 13th level of hell. It was still a chase, but this time, Di Badian and Donghuang Taixin couldn't attack the weaker demons. Since the demons were retreating at full speed, it wasn't easy for the powerhouses to chase after them. As time continued to pass, the millions of people finally arrived at a broken seal. Everyone had seen this seal many times. It was a terrifying thing that the great god Pangu had set up in ancient times to suppress the demon ancestor's soul. However, as the demon ancestor was resurrected and entered the 18th level of hell, the terrifying seal was destroyed layer by layer, resulting in the current scene. Although the seal was broken, it still retained an extremely powerful aura. Hellfire raged and burned fiercely within it. The demons, 3,000 boundless worlds, and all the powerhouses of the 33 heavens rushed in and entered the hellfire. Nearly 10 million figures were directly engulfed by the boundless flames. In Lu Jingyun's independent space, no one cared about how much time had passed. They were all wholeheartedly focused on their cultivation. This was especially true for Du Xiaofu, who didn't have such a concept. At this moment, the power outside his body became even more vigorous. The strange world became even larger, and there were thousands of scenes in it. It was extremely beautiful. If it weren't for the fact that he was in the meditative state, he would have thought that all of this was real. Although Du Xiaofu didn't know how long he had spent cultivating this time. In fact, in the 12th level of hell, the 33 heavens and 3,000 boundless worlds powerhouses had chased the demons for several years. During this time, hundreds of years had quietly passed. Walala. As Du Xiaofu cultivated, the strange world kept spinning. Everything in the world revolved around him. He was the supreme god of this world, and no one could compare to him. At the same time, all things in the world form released a strange energy, which then condensed and gathered together, finally turning into a vast river that rushed into Du Xiaofu's body. This was the power of the great Tao's origin. It was all absorbed into his body and hidden in the dark. Du Xiaofu's body surged with a fierce power that was incomparably terrifying. It should be over soon. At this time, Lu Jingyun and the others who were sitting cross-legged in the distance woke up one after another and opened their eyes. Everyone looked in the direction of Du Xiaofu, wanting to see his condition. After hundreds of years of recovery, most people's strength had reached a perfect state, and some people had even faintly improved. Should we wait for Uncle Master Du, or go out and fight the demons now? Lu Ro's red lips parted slightly as she looked at Lu Jingyun and asked. Let's wait a little longer. Uncle Master Du should be here soon. Lu Jingyun said without looking at his sister. After that, everyone stopped talking and continued to stare at Du Xiaofu. Under everyone's gaze, the changes in Du Xiaofu's body continued. Not long after, all of this became even more mysterious and unpredictable. Everything in the independent world emitted a strange energy, which then gathered into a huge river and poured into Du Xiaofu's body like a long dragon. As time continued to pass, all matter began to collapse. Terrifying energy surged and shook, completely enveloping Du Xiaofu within it, causing his entire body to be submerged in an ocean of energy. This sea of energy kept shrinking, and its power slowly faded. Lu Jingyun and the others knew that all of this had been swallowed by Du Xiaofu and returned to his body. Sizzle. The sea of energy surged and slowly shrank. Finally, it disappeared completely, revealing Du Xiaofu's existence. The purple-robed young man sat cross-legged in the void with his eyes closed. Phew! He exhaled a long breath of turbid air from his mouth, causing the entire space to tremble. Swoosh! Then, Du Xiaofu's eyes suddenly opened, and two bright rays of light penetrated the space as if they were solid, striking two black holes. I've finally recovered. Du Xiaofu opened his mouth and muttered. Feeling the power in his body, he could not help but smile. At the same time, he was pleasantly surprised. This trip to the 18 levels of hell and the continuous battles had allowed him to gain a lot, and his understanding of the power of the Great Path had reached a new level. His cultivation had also become more stable, and his mastery of the second level of the Void Path, Dao Transformation Technique, had also become more and more proficient. Most importantly, the improvement in his cultivation had brought about a great increase in his strength. Du Xiaofu had a feeling that even if he were to face an ordinary third-stage meditative realm expert, he would still be able to fight with all his might. Of course, people like Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Long Ke, and Long Su, who were at the peak of the third stage of meditative realm, were not included. Although Du Xiaofu was confident, he was not arrogant to such an extent. He knew very well that he was still far from these people in terms of strength, let alone the realm of enlightenment. However, his advantage was also very obvious, and that was that he did not have a huge bottleneck. As long as his comprehension reached a certain level, his cultivation would naturally increase, and surpassing everyone was only a matter of time. Why are you all staring at me like that? Du Xiaofu rubbed his nose and realized that everyone in the space was looking at him. Those gazes seemed to be staring at something strange, causing him to feel a little uncomfortable. Du Xiaofu could not help but suppress the thoughts in his heart, then raised his head and asked, "How's the situation outside?" The thing that concerned him the most at the moment was still the battle in the 18 levels of hell. Lu Jingyun did not hide anything and immediately told Du Xiaofu everything he had found out. After a simple explanation, Du Xiaofu quickly understood the devil race's intentions. Their idea is not bad, but we can't just watch the devil race fight and retreat. Du Xiaofu's eyes were burning as he said, "Aren't they trying to buy time for the devil ancestor to recover? Even if they can't stop the devil ancestor, they can't let the devil race fight too easily." As Du Xiaofu spoke, his eyes suddenly focused and shot out a piercing cold. Grandmaster is leading people in pursuit. It won't be that easy for the devil race to retreat. Lu Jingyun nodded and said, Di Bat-yin and Donghuang Tai Xian naturally understood the devil race's intentions. They had been constantly chasing, and the devil race had been fighting and retreating at the same time. They were facing a huge obstacle. Everyone should have recovered by now. Let's go out. Du Xiaofu waved his arm and said to the many powerhouses around him, the powerhouses of the 3,000 boundless domains and the 33 heavens will join forces to fight. We can still continue to sweep through for a while. After saying that, Lu Jingyun opened the exit of the space. Everyone rushed out and landed in front of the experts outside with great momentum. Chapter 29-29. Du Xiaofu, Lu Jingyun, and the others left the isolated space and entered the broken seal that led to the 13th level of hell. Di Bat-yin and Donghuang Tai Xian led the experts from the 3,000 universes and the 33 heavens. Even though they were surrounded by endless flames, they still attacked the demons from time to time. Violent and domineering energy stirred up the sea of fire, causing the broken seal to shake uncontrollably. When Du Xiaofu and the others appeared, many experts surrounded them. Boss, Dad, Brother Jingyun, Yu Qing Divine Emperor. Many experts came forward and stared at Du Xiaofu, Lu Jingyun, and the others. Everyone has almost recovered. Next, let's let the demons have a good time. Du Xiaofu's eyes burned brightly as he stared at the many demon race members who were fleeing in panic. At the same time, he glanced at Di Batian and Donghuang Taixin and felt a little surprised. Du Xiaofu had long known that these two experts were half-step to the carrier of Dao Realm, but Du Xiaofu hadn't expected them to be able to suppress the three demon generals. This was really beyond his expectations. Normally, the three demon generals were at the carrier of Dao Realm. Even if their strength was greatly reduced, they were definitely not people who could be defeated by ordinary people. It seemed that Di Batian and Donghuang Taixin were too strong. At the very least, they were much stronger than he had imagined. Senior brother's master's strength is really terrifying. Du Xiaofu murmured in his heart. His respect for Di Batian rose again. Di Batian's terrifying combat strength was probably not much weaker than senior brother Lu Xiaoyu himself. With the presence of Di Batian and Donghuang Taixin, the following battles in the 18 levels of hell would definitely be much easier. Unlike before, whenever they encountered experts like the Blood Ancestor and the three demon generals, Du Xiaofu and the others would fall into an extremely passive situation and face life-or-death situations at all times. However, Du Xiaofu was also very clear in his heart that there were definitely powerful demons in the 18 layers of hell. Perhaps, it wasn't as simple as just the three demon generals. And if a few more of those experts came, the situation would become grim again. Senior brother definitely has the corresponding arrangements for these matters, so there's no need for me to worry too much. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's eyes lit up as he thought of this. Everything was arranged by senior brother Lu Xiaoyu. These experts from the 3,000 sectors must have been instructed by him to enter the 18 levels of hell. Therefore, there was no need for him to worry too much at the moment. For Du Xiaofu, his first priority was to raise his cultivation level. After that, he would lead the experts to continue pushing their way through the 18 levels of hell until they could no longer advance any further. It might not be easy for the devil race to retreat with ease. Du Xiaofu's eyes lit up, and he gazed at Dongli Qihuang, Chen Yan, the three demon generals, and the others who were ceaselessly descending through the hell flames. He waved his arm and shouted loudly, "The hell flames are a good battlefield. Fellow Taoists, leave a portion of you behind to protect the Eternal Realm experts. Kill the rest with me." As soon as Du Xiaofu finished speaking, his figure shot out violently, and he charged directly towards Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan. Kill! Di Batian, Donghuang Taixin, Lu Jingyun, Long Ke, and the others at the meditative realm exchanged glances, and then they instantly flashed down and charged towards the devils. On the other hand, most of the experts from the 33 heavens and 3,000 sectors didn't move. The hell flames were extremely dangerous to Eternal Realm experts, and they required the protection of Meditative Realm experts to pass through safely. However, to the experts from these two worlds, there were already close to 400 people in the Meditative Realm. They only needed to leave a small portion of them to lead the many Eternal Realm experts, and the rest could fight. Just as Du Xiaofu had said, the Broken Seal was a good battlefield. The Devil race also needed to protect a large number of Eternal Realm experts to pass through. They were already at a disadvantage, and now they had to face the attacks of Du Xiaofu and the others, which made it even harder for them to protect their left and right. Damn Du Xiaofu! Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan quickly realized Du Xiaofu's intention, and they couldn't help but curse out loud. However, there was nothing they could do, and they could only brace themselves to fight. Leave the three demon generals to the two of us, and they'll immediately become mere decorations. They won't be of any use at all. Donghuang Taixin said with a smile as he blocked the three demon generals with Di Batian. Originally, with the three of them, the devil race had an absolute advantage. However, this advantage was naturally restricted with the arrival of Di Batian and Donghuang Taixin. They couldn't provide any help to the devil race at all. Dongli Chihuang, Chen Yan, fight with me. Du Xiaofu walked through the boundless flames with the purple-gold heavenly palace in his hand. His hair and purple robe fluttered as he pointed at Dongli Chihuang and Chen Yan and shouted loudly. He felt that the great Tao origin energy was surging endlessly, and the four primordial laws were moving at the same time. They circulated endlessly, brewing a violent and domineering force that swept towards the two opposite him. The surrounding space of flames was greatly affected, and it was as if it had frozen. The terrifying power was directed at the Eastern Flame's Scarlet Phoenix and Chen Yan, making it difficult for them to dodge. Du Xiaofu, since you want to die, we'll send you on your way. Chen Yan's gaze focused as he looked at the violet-robed young man that was charging towards him, and he spoke coldly. The two of us have been in the 18 levels of hell for many years, and our strength can't be compared to the past. This time, we'll absolutely not let you escape. Dongli Chuang's face became savage as he stared at Du Xiaofu while killing intent surged from his entire body. They'd already recovered their strength to the 3rd level of meditative realm, so they were naturally much stronger than when they fought Du Xiaofu. Both of them had awakened their ancient memories, so their strength recovered naturally. They believed that when they faced Du Xiaofu this time, it would absolutely be impossible for them to be completely suppressed by him like in the past. No matter how abnormal Du Xiaofu was, no matter how outstanding his natural talent was, and no matter how terrifying his cultivation speed was, he would absolutely be unable to compare to the two of them. Why speak so much nonsense? Come and fight. Du Xiaofu shouted coldly, and an extremely dazzling ray of sword light responded to Dongli Chihuang and Chen Yan. This ray of sword light carried a peerlessly sharp aura, and it seemed capable of splitting the heavens and the earth apart as it assaulted them. Kill! When facing such a sword strike, Dongli Chihuang and Chen Yan didn't speak any further, and they instantly moved to meet it head-on. Both of them instantly collided, and a terrifying battle erupted. Presently, Du Xiaofu's strength was already on par with the two of them, and he actually didn't fall into a disadvantaged position when fighting the two of them by himself. Such an outcome was rather surprising to the two devil attendants as well. On the other side, the battle between Di Batian, Dong Huang Taixian, and the 3 devil generals was extremely terrifying as well. The strength of half-step enlightened realm experts was truly world-shaking. The damaged seal was struck to the point it became even more damaged, and boundless tongues of flames roared through the surging energy as if they intended to devour everything. It won't be so easy for the demons to retreat so easily. Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Lu Ying, Long Ke, Long Su, and at least 200 other meditative realm experts stepped into the air and charged towards the millions of demons. At this time, the other side's meditative realm experts needed to protect a large number of immortals, and they couldn't spare too many people to deal with them. As such, the situation immediately revealed a side that caused the demons to despair. Facing the surprise attack of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds, they were completely in a passive situation. They could only stick together and defend, stubbornly defending their formation. Lu Jingyun and the others' attacks descended, and the rumbling sounds were incessant, all of them attacking the weak points of the demon's formation. Ka. As time passed, cracks began to appear in many areas of the demon's defense. A few more waves, and the demons will definitely suffer heavy casualties. A powerhouse from the 33 heavens saw this scene and said with a chuckle, as long as they broke through the demon's defense and exposed a large number of immortals to the terrifying hellfire, there would definitely be many casualties. Such an outcome was something the 33 heavens and 3,000 boundless worlds would naturally be happy to see. With such thoughts in mind, everyone attacked with all their might. As expected, under everyone's efforts, that powerful defense with a Qi-La sound was torn open, and at least 100 immortals were swept out and wrapped in terrifying flames. Zzz. These were no ordinary flames, but were set up by the great god Pangu in ancient times, used to suppress the primordial spirit of the demon ancestor, and it was absolutely terrifying. Even though the power of the seal was greatly reduced, it was still not something normal warriors could touch. After these demons touched the flames, in addition to the 33 heavens powerhouses attacking from the side, over 100 of them were quickly incinerated into piles of ash. Quick, defend with all your might. We can't let them break through our defenses again. A devil in the meditative forgetting realm shouted anxiously. Lu Jingyun and the others' actions were to exhaust the demons' battle strength, and at the same time, the 33 heavens and 3,000 boundless worlds were completely unharmed. For the demons, this was really too much of a loss. There was no need to hesitate. Many meditative realm demons instantly activated the power in their bodies and used all their strength to set up an even stronger defense. It had to be said that these demons were indeed not ordinary. In a situation where their numbers were not inferior to Lu Jingyun and the others, they were actually able to tightly defend the formation. Lu Jingyun and the others' attacks continued to be earth-shattering, but this time, it was extremely difficult to shake this kind of defense. It's just a last-ditch struggle. No matter how strong the demon's defense is, there will be a day when it will be broken through. Above, millions of immortals from the 33 heavens and 3,000 boundless worlds, as well as 200 to 300 meditative realm powerhouses, all looked at the situation below with shining eyes. They were extremely happy to see such a situation. The demons were like turtles, and they could only passively take a beating without being able to make any counterattack. In this way, it was absolutely only a matter of time to break through their defense. If this hellfire is all the way, it's only a matter of time before the demons are all wiped out. A powerhouse said. These words caused many people to nod in agreement. Everyone knew very well in their hearts that although the demons were in an absolute state of defense, they could not maintain a complete formation forever. Once Lu Jingyun and the others broke through the defense, it would naturally cause many immortals to die. And if the hellfire was endless, it wouldn't be impossible for it to wipe out the entire demon race. Fortunately, the powerhouses from the 3,000 boundless worlds rushed over in time. Otherwise, at this time, the powerhouses of the 33 heavens would be the ones being beaten passively. Someone from the 33 heavens said with a sigh. Yes, all of this must have been arranged by the master of the 3,000 boundless worlds. Since he allowed us to enter the 18 levels of hell, he definitely won't let us die in vain. Soon, another person spoke out in such a manner. At this time, everyone from the 33 heavens felt as if they had been given a new lease on life. During the battle with the Blood Ancestor, they had been worried for Du Xiaofu and the other meditative realm powerhouses. In addition, Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan, together with the 3 demon generals, had appeared, creating an unimaginable pressure on the millions of powerhouses. There was no doubt that if the powerhouses from the 3,000 boundless worlds hadn't appeared in time, most of them would have been killed or injured. Most of them would have died. Whether it was the Blood Ancestor or the 3 demon generals, to them, they were monstrously terrifying existences. They were simply not people they could fight against. However, after thinking about it for a moment, it was clear that the powerhouses from the 3,000 boundless worlds had appeared at this critical time because all of this had been arranged by the master of the 3,000 boundless worlds, Lu Xiaoyu. Since he dared to let millions of people from the 33 heavens enter the 18 levels of hell and come into direct contact with the demons, he must have his own confidence. He definitely wouldn't send them to their deaths. That would be worthless. The 13th level of hell is not far away. I hope we can kill more demons here, muttered a powerhouse as he looked at the battle below. Under their gazes, Du Xiaofu, Dongli Qihuang, and Chen Yan, the 2 demon attendants, fought fiercely. All 3 of them were at the 3rd level of the meditative realm. In the past, they were existences that could shake the entire 33 heavens. As they fought in the endless flames of hell, all 3 of them did their best to suppress each other. As they continued to fight, the 2 demon attendants were incomparably astonished. It wasn't until they fought many times that they truly reacted. It turned out that Du Xiaofu was much more terrifying than they'd imagined. He actually hadn't fallen into a disadvantageous position when the 2 of them joined forces. This kid really is abnormal enough. If the two of us hadn't joined forces, I'm afraid it would really be difficult for us to defeat him. Chen Yen gritted his teeth and fought Du Xiaofu with all his might as he spoke hatefully. He really couldn't imagine how Du Xiaofu's strength could break through so quickly. It was simply unbelievable. If I'd known earlier that he would be like this, I would have asked my lord to directly suppress him when he entered the 33 heavens. It wouldn't have caused so much trouble now. Dongli Qihuang also felt the roots of his teeth itch. It could be said that he hated Du Xiaofu to the bone. Du Xiaofu's strength had grown too quickly, completely beyond the comprehension of ordinary people. Even if Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan were powerhouses from ancient times, they still found it hard to imagine. They had boundless regret in their hearts. Why didn't they give this kid a final blow when the great calamity of the devil religion in Shenwu world ended and directly cut off his chance of rebirth? Or they could have killed him early after he entered the 33 heavens. That way, he wouldn't have become a huge problem for the devil race today. However, this wasn't the most important thing. What worried Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan the most was that once Du Xiaofu grew to the ultimate land, he would be an unimaginable threat to the devil ancestor. Du Xiaofu didn't care about what the two of them were thinking. He shouted sternly and slashed repeatedly with the broadsword in his hand. Terrifying sword rays pierced through the heavens and the earth, and one after another, they attacked the other party. On the other side, Di Bat-yin and Donghuang Taixin joined forces to fight the three devil generals. Although they couldn't quickly suppress the three devil generals, the two of them were exceedingly powerful and definitely had the upper hand. Meanwhile, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Lu Ying, Long Ke, Long Su, and the other powerhouses of the Oblivion realm tore a hole in the devil race's defense after their relentless attacks. Die for me. Taking advantage of this opportunity, a powerhouse of the second level of the Oblivion realm roared and slashed a ferocious sword ray into the devil race's crowd through the hole. Suddenly, a series of shrill cries rang out. Blood and flesh flew everywhere as a large number of devil race members were killed. How could an undying realm powerhouse resist the attack of an Oblivion realm powerhouse? There were even more people who didn't even have the time to scream before they died in a formless manner. Quick, reinforce the defense. Some Oblivion realm powerhouses of the devil race cried out in shock. They rushed madly to the hole in the devil race's defense and reformed the powerful defense. They didn't dare to relax at all. If they weren't careful, a large number of powerhouses would die. The Oblivion realm powerhouse's attack just now had killed thousands of undying realm powerhouses. Continue to attack. I'd like to see how long these devil race members can hold on. A Oblivion realm powerhouse from the 3,000 boundless worlds shouted coldly as he pointed at the devil race's defense formation. To them, they didn't feel any pressure at all. However, the devil race had to maintain their full strength at all times. This was also a huge drain on their strength. As long as they could break through the devil race's defense again and again, the battle would definitely be fruitful. We have to hold on. As long as we break through this seal and enter the 13th layer of hell, it'll be much easier. An expert from the demon race said. Passing through the flames of hell had become a huge challenge to them. It brought them endless pressure. Everyone felt that the journey had become incomparably long. They all wanted to enter the 13th layer of hell as soon as possible. And if they went down a few more layers, they would receive strong reinforcements from the devil race. Only then would they have a real battle with the devil race. It was under such circumstances that the devil race, 3,000 boundless worlds, and 33 skies all went down together. After 2 more rounds of defense, the devil race finally broke through the boundless flames of hell and entered the 13th layer of hell. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.